All right, so in this video, we're going to understand how information travels wirelessly. And what I mean by this is that we're going to understand how devices like Wi-Fi, wireless internet work, how things like radios, say in cars, work, and how things like cell phones, which definitely use wireless communication, how they work. And the reason that we can understand all these in one pretty short video is that they all use the same principle of communication, and they all use communication via waves. So, waves are something that we're all intimately familiar with. We know, from childhood that if we have, say, a lake and someone throws a rock into this lake, then the rock is going to cause ripples to form in the lake. And the key point about these ripples, what makes them called waves, is that they move, they propagate. And because they propagate, they can carry information out about the initial disturbance that created them. For example, the way that you're listening to my voice right now is that your speaker, this is a very poor drawing of a speaker, but your speaker is moving and your speaker is creating sound waves. And what a sound wave is just regions of high and low density in the air. These are supposed to be air molecules. And so these sound waves reach your ear, and your ear does some complicated process to transcribe that into sound. But again, these waves, this information transmission is possible because the waves propagate. Now, to understand how all of these devices work, we're going to have to talk about something called electromagnetic or EM waves. And the exact nature of these waves is too complicated to go into now, and it's not important for understanding this. But let me just give you some examples of waves that you already know about that are in fact EM waves. So, light, for example, is an electromagnetic wave. Microwaves use electromagnetic waves to heat up food. X-rays, whenever you go to the doctor and you get an X-ray image taken, the waves that form that image are X-rays. And lastly, of course, radio waves are another special type of electromagnetic waves. So, how do we use waves to transmit information? That's what we're going to try to understand now. And before we do that, we need to understand two characteristics of waves, two ways that we can quantify what makes one wave different from another. So, if I consider this wave that I have here, there are two things that I can ask about it. One, I can ask, how large is this wave? And to answer such a question, what I might do is I might simply measure, the difference between the maximum value and the central value or the equilibrium point. And that is something that we call the amplitude in wave terminology. So let's say that the amplitude is A. So this distance is A, and obviously this distance is A. And the difference between the peak and the trough, called the peak to peak distance, is equal to obviously 2 times the amplitude, or 2a. So amplitude is a very easy, very intuitive concept about how to characterize how big a wave is. So the other concept that's important is called frequency. And frequency is just the answer to the question, how fast do cycles of the wave go by? So by a cycle, I mean a region like this of a wave. The basic unit of the wave that repeats, each one of these is a cycle, and basically frequency is equal to the number of cycles that occur in a unit time, let's say a second. So a wave that looks like this has a much higher frequency than a wave that looks like this, even though they have the same amplitude. So now that we understand what frequency and amplitude mean, we can use these concepts to transmit information. The first way that I'm going to tell you about how to do this is called amplitude modulation. And this is what the AM stands for in AM radio. So the basic idea is best seen by this example. So say I have some signal, maybe it's a sound signal or something else. Say I have some signal that I want to send you, and that signal looks like this. So how do I send you this signal? Well, just for convenience, you'll see why I do this in a second, but I want to draw the negative of the signal. So this is the signal that I want to send you, and I want to send it to you via an electromagnetic wave. So what I do is I send you a wave of particular frequency, and I tell you to look for waves of that frequency. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this wave where I change the wave based on the signal that I want to send you. So wherever the signal is low, I make the amplitude of my wave low, and wherever the signal is high, I make the amplitude of my wave high. So here we have two distinct pieces. This is the signal, and this wave that I'm sending you is called the carrier wave because it carries the signal. So to decode this, all you have to do is you have to look at how big the wave is at any given point, and then you can get the signal that I was trying to send you. So this scheme is called amplitude modulation, and it's the one that's used in radios most often, AM radio specifically, to get you the songs you hear, say, in a car when you're driving and you're listening to the radio. Now, there's AM and there's also FM, and you've probably guessed by now that FM means frequency modulation. So frequency modulation is another way I can send you information, and of course we can use frequency modulation in the same way that I used amplitude modulation to send you some like sound file. But what I want to talk about now is how, say, things like cell phones use frequency modulation to send digital information. And what I mean by that is that cell phones want to send to each other or to wireless towers that communicate with them, they want to send information in the forms of ones and zeros. And later they transmit some hardware on the cell phone translate those ones and zeros into text or sounds or whatever. But to do that, what we can simply do is we can agree that if you're a cell phone and you receive a frequency that looks like this, then you call that a zero. But if you receive a frequency that looks like this, then you call that a one. So if I want to send someone the message 1011, all I do is I send them this signal in which I change the frequency. So I want to send a 1 first. So here's a 1. Then I want to send a 0. Then I'll send another 1. So I have a low frequency. Then I want to send another 1. So to decode this message, all you have to do is you have to look at different points and you have to see, okay, what's the frequency here? Is it a 0 or is it a 1? And so this idea, FM, is the basis of how digital communication takes place wirely. It's actually called something more complex, frequency shift.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to you, Raw. I appreciate you being here. And so I'm planning on being on here a long time. So, I'm gonna get into it. I got stuff that I want to get through. You can come on here. If you come on here later, I'll let you know. But I just want to get through a couple things real quick, you know what I'm saying, just to show you what's going on around here. But first, I showed that video at the beginning for a number of different reasons. My brother Bakari talks about the ham radio and how we can talk to each other, send messages, or even decode it. But it's a bigger scheme than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when we talk about getting our stuff on TV, like we'll be like, oh well, our kids will go to their colleges because they'll be seen on TV, or our basketball leagues have to go through them because at the end of the day, if you want to control a channel, guess who you got to go through? You know what I'm saying? So you really gonna have to start being able to build satellites and all of these things to control the waves, because right now somebody even controls waves. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of us complain, and this is a lot of the issues that we got to solve. Like if you try to create a program or something, especially like an app for like black countries to help black people share money or send money back and forth, they can kind of shut that down or send a wave to block it or something like that. Yeah, I'm grateful you here too, bro. And we complain about, and that's a lot of the things that we don't want to give up. It's the comfort, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have to start at least teaching our children, you know what I'm saying? And this is really going to lead into like the first thing I want to talk about. But, we have to be aware how information travels if we want to spread information and talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure there could be another way, a better way, more efficient way, especially if we put our minds to it and have think tanks and, have time to develop it, a better way to transmit information, just a signal and, what I'm saying, a transmitter, and a receiver, So, but right now you also will have to figure out a way to create, like, if you want to have your own leagues and put it on TV, you're going to have to find ways to create your own channels, pretty much, your own stations if you want to control what you hear on the radio, the real music that's out there, you know what I'm saying? Because we complain all the time about what somebody else is controlling, and you're gonna have to build bigger and stronger, you know what I'm saying? Antennas, bigger and stronger transmitters, whatever it may be, and that takes getting our children into school, doing the right things, learning. But we have to take all of this stuff seriously and understand that, understand where we are, But, we also want to know this on in case of like, ham radio stuff, being able to communicate if Facebook, God forbid, goes down for 24 hours, we'll be out back and can't even communicate. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else's control, and also how to keep up your own websites, your own, all of these things is important for our children to know. So, we can get up off of these platforms, because that's the ultimate goal, is to have your own. And whether you hate anybody or don't have nothing to do with that, it has to do with loving yourself and wanting to be able to express yourself and have your freedom of religion, your freedom of opinion, your freedom of, be a citizen, a person, a human. You know what I'm saying? You want to control your own destiny. You want to have self autonomy. You know what I'm saying? So, what I'm gonna show is, the war that we are in, and how we are losing and being outworked and what's going on around here, and how we have to, protect our children. And, so let me just go ahead and start with the first thing. All right, so right now I want to show you this, and this is they're talking about that dude Steve Bannon, and I told y'all, he went on a mission to fund school boards all across the state, you know what I'm saying, to control, what's going on in our schools. And it's not even that I'm mad at him. It's like, why aren't we doing that? We can't even show up to school board meetings, and our children are being poisoned with misinformation, you know what I'm saying, to the point where we argue about everything. And, it's so much misinformation in our communities, you know what I'm saying? And we don't rely on the things that we need to rely on, you know what I'm saying? We are uninterested in the things that we need. Like, yo, it's going to take science and technology to protect us on all fronts, whether it be controlling your message and, how much your internet not being shut down by somebody, or the weapons to defend yourself, you know what I'm saying, if they have a problem with that. But I want you to see, because Steve Bannon here calls it the war room, you know what I'm saying? He calls it the war room because he understands, and he would tell you, well, no, I'm about the Christian white people, you know what I'm saying? It's probably white males. We know how they used to get down in Europe for a long time. But, he would tell you. So let me play some of this,
Scott, I want to make sure we get this article up because it's really in detail and everybody should read it about the schools and about what is NBC? What's the theory of the case? They're blaming you guys for what? Supporting school board members who would get in and had a biblical point of view, but their number one purpose was to make sure that the teaching in the academics in the school system got better. Is that essentially it, Scott?
That is, Stephen. And, I'll say this. It's a sad day in our country when protecting our children is being labeled as far right. It's no secret, the left has been injecting their ideology into our schools for years now. whether it be critical race theory or gender fluidity or pornographic literature, what have you.
That is former Trump advisor Steve Bannon on his podcast today, talking about this story published by NBC's Mike Hixenbaugh this morning. In his new piece, Hixenbaugh explains how a far-right Christian nationalist phone company is using national Republican strategists and consultants to take over school boards in Texas, and they do not plan on stopping there. Joining us now is Mike Hixenbaugh, senior investigative reporter for NBC News. Mike spent years covering how education, Mike and co-host Antonia Hilton covering how America's racial history is felt today. That's what that podcast is all about, and how it's taught to kids in suburban classrooms and how the right is responding to it. Mike, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for that.
So Patriot Mobile is based in Tarrant County, and what we saw in 2020 and 2021 with this backlash to teachings about racism that was described as critical race theory by conservatives, we saw that that backlash shift in the past several months to become intertangled with this kind of growing movement by far-right Christian conservatives to try to insert or to reassert Christian values in schools. And so Patriot Mobile is part of that story. They saw the success that some of these smaller political action committees had in flipping control of school boards in the initial fights over critical race theory. And so they, this year, decided to make school boards their thing rather than focusing on Congress or other, offices. And they poured $600,000 into flipping local school boards in Tarrant County, as you mentioned, a county that they say is.
Now, I want you to pay attention to this. You know what I'm saying? They was like, we're going to direct our efforts in a single thing. And y'all boy, Steve Bannon said, the most important thing is the children. You know what I'm saying? You want to take control of the education system. You want to control the curriculum in the schools. You know what I'm saying? And he's telling you, just in this one county, they put $600,000, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to see, it's probably a lot more than that. But being in control of the children's minds, and they made it a direct effort to focus on one thing at a time, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, as far as an organizational thing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it would be important to because the school board is very important, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if we directed our efforts specifically for that, you know what I'm saying, the kids that's born today won't be as doomed as they are right now, you know what I'm saying? So, and they understood that, you know what I'm saying, they want to make sure to bring back whatever it was back, but yeah.
Traditionally a red county that did flip to Biden, and in their minds, keeping Tarrant red is the key to keeping Texas red.
I did some reporting on this very subject in Florida, and what's so haunting are the similarities in the language, in the goals, in the texts, in the lessons, in the standards. It all feels very much a part of this broader conservative movement that's been incredibly efficient in getting sort of indoctrination installed in public schools. I want to just call everybody's attention to what specifically is happening in the policies in these school boards on race, for example, in the Grapevine Collier Independent School District. The policies say that in accordance with the Texas Education Code, the district, including its teachers and administrators, shall not instruct employees or students that meritocracy or traits such as hard work ethic are racist or sexist or were created by members of a particular race or group to oppress members of another race or group. The advent of slavery in the territory that is now the U.S. constituted the true founding of the United States. That's a specific dig at the 1619 Project. Nor shall teachers instruct employees or students that with respect to their relationship to American values, slavery and racism are anything other than deviations from, betrayals of, or failures to live up to the authentic founding principles of the United States, which include liberty or equality. This is all under the rubric of patriotism.
Now, look, they're telling you, slavery, you know what I'm saying? They're saying, well, you can't teach your children that it's the true basis for American, even though, they got all their money through that. And, that's a whole another thing. I don't want to get kicked off because it's banned here in Richmond, I mean, in Virginia or whatever. But they're trying to tell you, American values, no matter what your relationship is to American values, slavery, or racism, to say they're anything other than they're a deviation from the authentic founding principles. Now, these are dudes who put pedophiles on sides of mountains and praised them. Good old TJ, you know what I'm saying? And they call him an abolitionist. I don't understand. But let me play. I think it's a little bit more.
Than that, it is
That's right.
more specifically furthering this sort of Christian nationalist agenda that seeks to effectively whitewash America's history on race and institutional racism.
That's absolutely right. And in the piece, we touch on this once kind of fringe Christian theology and political philosophy known as the Seven Mountains Mandate, or
It's, so yeah, let me play this. And this is because we talking about Laos County, you know what I'm saying, down there. And they have people everywhere, you know what I'm saying, even down in there. So let me play a little bit of what they have going down there, you know what I'm saying.
Going to bring in another fighter right now in Loudoun County. And by the way, this is why the precinct committee strategy is so important. Moms and dads at these school boards, election boards, all of it. You're signing up in record numbers and you're fighting. And the fight continues. Just because you win an election, just because you win down in the Commonwealth of Virginia, that's great. But then you got to execute on the other side of it. Let's bring in Renee Camp. We've had Renee on many times.
And just because they won it here, you know what I'm saying, because I'm still able to come on here and talk about it. So they can't stop me, I guess.
From Loudoun County. Can we play that? Let's play this clip. I got to show this, and then I want Renee to come in and comment on it.
All CRT and RT programs demand to dedicate restrooms according to male, female, transgender, and staff. Demand to cease and desist enforcing unconstitutional COVID-19 mandates. Demand for full disclosure of incidents regarding.
For our podcast and radio audience, it was amazing. This was like a school board meeting with the school boards behind these plexiglass, and the people are out there. Renee Camp, explain to us what happened, because it looked monumental. I've watched that now 100 times. I'm going to watch it 100 more. Tell us what went on.
Good morning, Steve. So good to see you. Just know that I've been praying for you all this time for all of the things that are happening to you. So we appreciate you. That's what it was. We this affidavit that I drew up. I started drawing it up about 6 months ago, and then just kept it in the sideline. And we are part of an amazing group of just patriots, and those are just people that are fighting, not lawyers, not anybody else. And so we work on these affidavits, and it's across the country for multiple different things. This was just one that I felt Loudoun County needed at this point. And we sent them a notice on jot form last week, Wednesday. So we've given them 7 days to respond, which they didn't, and we did not expect that they would. And so the affidavit is the next step.
What is in? I think that was you or somebody at the beginning giving a preamble. It was a little hard to hear. Walk us through. We got about a minute. We'll hold you over through the break. What were you laying out that's in these affidavits?
Well, I'll read it, seeing as I have a minute. It was basically an affidavit to demand to cease and desist all CRT and RT programs, to demand to dedicate restrooms to male, female, transgender, and staff, because it's all mixed right now, to cease and desist enforcing unconstitutional COVID-19 mandates, to full disclosure, demand for full disclosure of incidents regarding sexual abuse and protection. Also, appropriate vetting and full participation by parents for these books that are in our libraries, and that parents have some participation in children's surveys, because they're doing all of these things and they don't have the right to do that.
Right. So, like 3 of those things was like, critical race theory, teaching our children about our past and our history, you know what I'm saying? Which if we understood, we would have some people wouldn't make some of the arguments that we make today, you know what I'm saying, if we understood anything about our history here today, you know what I'm saying, or our history here and everywhere, you know what I'm saying. A lot of us wouldn't have the mindset that a lot of us do, but they're showing you here, you know what I'm saying. So hold on. All right, so now I want to show you, you know, the kind of the fruits of their labor or whatever. Let me show you this. So recently, you know, after the election, a lot of people, so, you know, after the election, there were a lot of their school board members who what they're focused on, they're finally getting in office. And this is one of the results of that.
Fooled by these six. Watch what's the next motion. Watch the motion. Listen carefully. You all have been sandbagged.
I make a motion to terminate the employment of Mr. Dion Jackson, the superintendent of the Berkeley County School District, effective immediately. Do we have a second?
I'd like to know the justification and the rationale reasoning for firing an individual who just was proficient in his first annual evaluation. What's the reason, Mr. Chairman? You made the motion. What's the reason? Why are we terminating his employment?
Mr. Barrow, I'm not going to discuss personnel matters in open session. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries 6-3.
It is unbelievable that on the first night of a new board that such things would come up. Unbelievable.
We have another motion.
Unbelievable.
We have
Mr.
another
Chairman,
motion.
I make a motion to name
wait,
Anthony
wait.
Dixon.
Now, hold on, I'm playing this one.
Dr. Tiffany Richardson, the district's on-staff lawyer, was fired first. Then Superintendent Dion Jackson was fired. The board also hired their replacements at the same time, even though Barrow said he, as a board member, was unaware of that prior to the meeting.
When they terminated Dr. Richardson and Mr. Jackson's contract, or terminated their employment, in the same motion with Dr. Richardson, they fired her and they hired Brandon Gaskins. Now, how can that be when you hire somebody before somebody is terminated?
The board also announced Anthony Dixon was hired as the new superintendent. Barrow wants to know who hired Dixon ahead of the firing of Jackson.
So there had to be some meeting or some agreement with some board members to negotiate the contract.
Chairman McQuillan would not answer questions about why the firings happened. He said this is a personnel matter.
I'm angry. I'm devastated for the students and the teachers of Berkeley County.
Melissa Soul is a teacher who...
All right. So, you know, pretty much, you know, once these school boards got in office, you know, this brother who was, you know, he was kind of democratic, but, you know, he was for, you know, teaching not critical race theory, but, you know, putting the truth about history, like the Ruby Bridges story, you know what I'm saying? Or teaching about Rosa Parks, or, you know what I'm saying? They don't even go to the extreme of somebody like Nat Turner or Marcus Garvey or something like that, or Ida B. Wells. They just talking about, you know, the regular stories that we hear all the time. And the first thing they did was fire this brother, fire that sister, you know, and put in another black dude, another black man. And the first thing they did was ban critical race theory, you know what I'm saying? Now, over all of the other issues, for some reason, critical race theory is the thing that helps them unify, you know what I'm saying? It's the thing that got them to get on this code, you know what I'm saying, where they straight attack the school boards. And now, you know, we're going to see the results of that.
Following developing news out of Berkeley County this morning, the new board voted to terminate Superintendent Dion Jackson minutes after being sworn in. Jackson walked out of the room, followed by teachers. He took over as superintendent in July 2021. Dr. Anthony Dixon will serve as the district's interim superintendent. The board also terminated the district's in-house lawyer, Dr. Tiffany Richardson. She joined the district in 2021. We heard from community members who were frustrated with last night's decision.
I will tell you that as a parent, as a former board member, that scares me of what's to come.
The board also voted to not allow critical race theory to be taught. They also approved a resolution to study a potential tax cut and to form a committee to review potentially sexual or pornographic materials in the district.
Right. So you see, the first thing they did is try to ban. They banned critical race theory before they even talked about some sexual deviant stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much they are at it. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of these teachers walked out, but you know, that's kind of the point of, you know, being in control of your own schools. You know, maybe that's why we don't, you know, have people out there creating our own stations or satellites or whatever, or a different way that we can receive and transmit information. You know what I'm saying? The first thing, it comes with our children's minds. And more importantly than that, you know what I'm saying, giving them and instilling a level of self-pride to last with them throughout their lifetime. Now, we already have our children going to school, right? This is what we fought. Well, I'm not gonna say we fought for. I'm gonna say this is what, you know, Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP fought for. They said we couldn't have equality as long as we don't go to their schools. But what we did was take away the teachers, the black teachers, right? We took away somebody teaching you the truth about yourself and the history that and the people that you come from. And that's just what they do, you know what I'm saying? But the fact is they can get on code, you know what I'm saying? And they understand they can attack a particular area like the school board and try to make or whatever kind of change they want. And we have the ability to change one given area at a time if we want to. Like, we look for the sky to crack, you know what I'm saying? The sky is cracked 100 years ago, but this is like work that you have to put in. You know what I'm saying? You see how much money and time and effort in the campaign they went on to get the results that they get, you know what I'm saying? To make sure that the actual truth about history is not taught. Right? We already understand we can't talk about one group, but they're in there teaching that slavery was indentured servitude. You know what I'm saying? And they're telling you that you can't teach about the truth about your own, you know what I'm saying? So let me keep going and show you this. I had the wrong thing. All right, so let me just play a little bit of this because I want you to see some of y'all. I don't even think he is, but some of y'all need to hear from his lips better than mine, I guess.
Mr. Deion Jackson, the first black superintendent of the Berkeley school system in South Carolina, the fourth largest school system in the state, was fired on November 15th, along with in-house counsel Tiffany Richardson, after a group calling themselves Moms of Liberty did not like the way things were going in their school district. Banded together, got the people they wanted on the school board, and as soon as the people they got on the school board were sworn in, they turned around and voted Ms. Richardson and Mr. Jackson out of office.
Now, I'm going to stop right there because I'm showing you this, you know what I'm saying? These groups, and especially the white bitches, you know what I'm saying? The most dangerous creatures in the universe, you know what I'm saying? Band together, and they ain't like how things was going, so they made a change in the school board. And the first thing they did was get this brother out, you know what I'm saying? And we all know what schools desperately need. Our children desperately need strong black male figures, male leaders, male teachers, strong black female leaders, black teachers who is proud of their identity, proud of their history, and is teaching them this. And a lot of people don't even learn our own history. And a lot of people go to college and learn it from the college aspect. But unless you learn it, like not from a biased perspective, but just go through it and just see everything that happened and the whole perspective and how things are built and created, you know what I'm saying? And where we lost track because these other groups sat around and debated and had time to have all of this experiments, all of this energy to do this. And we had to spend all of our energy and continue to spend all of our energy trying to protect ourselves. But right now, we can't even protect our children's mind, you know what I'm saying? And he brought up, you know what I'm saying, the Moms of Liberty. So let me play you one of the Moms of Liberty here and what she had to say.
The number one arrow in our quiver against critical race theory is Martin Luther King. It's judging on the content of their character over the color of their skin. Of course, we all know critical race theory seeks to do just the opposite. It racializes children. If you're a child of color, then you're a victim. And if you're a white child, then everybody hates you and you should be ashamed.
Now, see, this is why they probably need critical race theory more than anybody, but it's irrelevant what they need. You know what I'm saying? They try to weaponize, you know what I'm saying? Even though he got shot in the face, let's not forget that, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to get shot in the face like y'all did to Martin Luther King, who got put in jail, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people like JFK who waited with like a month or two to try to get him out of jail, even though he was lying like, oh yeah, we're going to get you out. And then he waited a month. That's why they start writing all them letters and stuff, talking against them or whatever. But, you know, their number one quiver, their number one weapon is Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? And this is like warfare with your mom, but this is the Moms of Liberty who is making moves in school boards around the country, probably your local school board, you know what I'm saying? I know here they already did it, you know what I'm saying? But this is what's going on with your local schools, you know what I'm saying? And this is who's going to be teaching you. But we're going to skip ahead to this right here.
Heard about Moms for Liberty on Glenn Beck. They announced their presence or their existence.
The chapter in Tennessee. Robin, will come to you first. You realized that you couldn't sit on the political sidelines anymore, that your representatives were not going to do what you thought they should do. And how did you discover your Moms for Liberty chapter in Tennessee? Robin, will come to you first.
I first heard about Moms for Liberty on Glenn Beck. They announced their presence or their existence on that program, and I kind of just filed that away in the back of my mind, thinking that could be useful information later on. But what moved me to action was the hiring of a diversity, equity, inclusion consultancy here for Williamson County Schools. And I'm aware that DEI is critical race theory in praxis, and I've been following DEI's infiltration through corporations, the DOD, the DOJ, and I see how it rots every organization that it touches from the inside out. And the fact that Williamson County Schools was looking to open that Pandora's box moved me to action. I did my first ever school board commentary in March of 2021. I warned them that they were stepping out onto a slippery slope that goes to very dark places. And I'm not making it up. There's lots of precedent out there in California and other blue states where the dark places where this kind of policy has led. So that's what got me started. And very quickly into that journey, we learned about the Wit and Wisdom curriculum and that critical race theory was already present in Williamson County via that curriculum, specifically the second grade module 3. And we knew that because kids were coming home racialized, victimized or told that or ashamed of their skin color.
Now, you see that, you know what I'm saying? Now, the most dangerous creatures in all of history probably have accounted for more bodies in history than anything in the universe. I would probably put money on that. They probably have accounted for more bodies, you know what I'm saying? Now, they realize, you know what I'm saying, because they realized their kids were being taught simple things. They don't even, like, let's be real, you know what I'm saying? Black people is not like, I'm get called an extremist, and I'm really not, you know what I'm saying? I'm really just like, I want to have self-autonomy, you know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, the society that's created, you know what I'm saying, that is meant for our destruction. And I think that we should be in charge of the creation of our society. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what up, Bakari? But you know, you see how she said I couldn't sit on the sideline. You know, when my kid is taught how I spit on a 6-year-old girl like Ruby Bridges when she tried to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Or how I, murdered a bunch of black children, or how during slavery, you know, how badly I treated black women because I was so jealous, because even during slavery, white dudes wanted probably black women more than them, you know, or more attracted to black women than them. And she don't want her children taught that. So she said, I'm not going to sit on the sideline and do anything. Now here our children are being miseducated or taught self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? We get deeper and deeper in the integration, and most of us still sit on the sideline and do nothing, except for when something happens, we'll complain for a few minutes, but we don't take the action and take the time to, you know what I'm saying, get out there and do something. You all good, Bakari. And if you ever want the link or whatever, just let me know. But I'm just going through this, you know what I'm saying? I don't plan on being long anyway, and I'm already kind of halfway through. But I just wanted to show who the Moms for Liberty are. And if you didn't see, they was responsible for getting the brother fired here in Berkeley County, you know what I'm saying? And this was their aim, you know what I'm saying? Steve Bannon funded, and I said 38,000, but it's probably a lot more than that, you know what I'm saying? They put $600,000 in Texas alone, and this is Tennessee. There's Florida. We saw what happened in Virginia. We saw what happened in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So the public schools we're sending our kids to, you know what I'm saying? We have to go out there and like really make a difference, or either get in charge of our own schools, one or the other. But we cannot sit on the sidelines, you know what I'm saying, and let this go on, because these white bitches is out here, you know what I'm saying? The most dangerous species in the universe is out here doing what they do. I don't think there's anything else I want to play for this. Let me see.
Brandy, what's your...
Oh yeah, I don't really care about no more of them. But I just want to show you some of the things they're talking about banning, because they were saying like their books, you know, this is what racializing children, you know what I'm saying?
Ruby Bridges was the first Black student to desegregate a New Orleans school in 1960. This image of her, surrounded by U.S. Marshals, made her a civil rights hero. She was just 6 years old. This illustrated book, The Story of Ruby Bridges, is taught in schools across the country. But some of the images and words have a group of parents in Tennessee sounding the alarm. We went to Williamson County, just outside Nashville, to find out why. This is Dr. Beth Myers, a former educator who disapproves of how schools are teaching race, gender, and history. That says it advocates for parents' rights. Both women object to some well-known books on the public school reading lists, and they reject the way Wit and Wisdom teaches those books. It's a national curriculum that's been adopted here in Tennessee.
The way she did. But the way Wit and Wisdom teaches it is very divisive and racially charged, and it focuses 100% on the negatives and how, you know, the white people were racist and what they did to Ruby, and it just leaves kids.
Now, this white bitch said all it does is focus on the negative. Now, it tells a story of what happened when the 6-year-old little girl, and listen, right? During this movement, the people who was down for integration was down to sacrifice their children. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say that as a negative thing, because if you ever want whatever you want to do, you're going to have to sacrifice your children. It don't mean throwing them in the volcano, which they kind of did here. You know what I'm saying? But you can, if you actually pay attention to a lot of the stories, you know, you can see why a father or parents would want their little girl to go to the closest school near them, because you don't want no 6-year-old girl having to walk 4 or 5 miles to a school which was poorly made, you know what I'm saying? But you have Black teachers who taught Black power stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or Black pride, at least, you know, history. But then your kid would have to walk home miles in the afternoon or evening, whether it be dark or not. And you don't want a 6-year-old walking that far. And no telling what's going on, especially during the 60s or the 50s, you know, which would happen during the 50s, right? When Emmett Till, everybody's talking about Emmett Till. You don't want no 6-year-old girl. So they were saying either you're gonna give us these buses or you're gonna let her go to the school. You know what I'm saying? So it was really Thurgood Marshall who pushed for the school integration part, because they were saying we'll give you equal whatever. But she's telling you, oh, well, they're only telling you about the bad parts, like how bitches like her was spitting on this little girl, calling her the N-word and all of this stuff. And, you know, if you look up the Little Rock Nine, you know, it was video of one of the girls who was attacked, you know what I'm saying? And it's like live video, and it just gives you an example. Now, this was a 6-year-old facing this, you know what I'm saying? Now, maybe she knew better, maybe she didn't, but Ruby Bridges is still alive today, right? And she's telling you she wants this book banned because it only shows white bitches in it, because they was the main ones against it, you know what I'm saying? The Moms of Liberty in the 1960s, because there was Moms of Liberty in the 1860s calling for the lynchings of black men, you know what I'm saying? Especially after 1865. You know what I'm saying? They stayed here arguing for both sides of the fence, but they will also call themselves this minority who benefit from the affirmative action that they're against, just like, you know what I'm saying, those Asians do, you know? But let me play this one more time.
On the negatives. But the way Wit and Wisdom teaches it is very divisive and racially. The message to my daughter is, Ruby was courageous. Be like Ruby. Go change the world and make it better the way she did. But the way Wit and Wisdom teaches it is very divisive and racially charged, and it focuses 100% on the negatives and how, you know, the white people were racist and what they did to Ruby, and it just leaves kids feeling bad. History should be taught, absolutely, warts and all, but just teach history without, you know, agenda or ideology or trying to put a child in one box or another, because history has the lessons of its own.
Steenman.
Now she's talking about, you know, it has lessons of its own. Like, if they don't want people to talk about the bad stuff they did, they shouldn't have committed the crime. You know what I'm saying? And whether you believe in critical race theory, you know what I'm saying, the truth is the truth. Like, why is grown bitches like her spitting on the 6-year-old girl because they don't want them to go to school? Now, of course, you know what I'm saying, like I said, there were circumstances, but you don't want your kid to, you know what I'm saying, go be educated by that same bitch that's spitting on you. If they don't even want you at your school and fight you every step of the way, what do you think they're going to do to your mind? What do you think they're going to teach you?
And laws.
That you are in groups. Your identity is group identity. When you, again, focus on differences.
Now, she's like, you know, they talk out of both sides of their mouth here.
Your identity is group identity. When you, again, focus on differences, how do we have unity? This country is polarized badly.
Now, she said group identity, you know what I'm saying? But she's doing this because she feels like little white kids is being discriminated against on some group identity politics. But like I said, this is who's taking over the school board, and probably in the school board near you, you know what I'm saying? They have been able to focus their attacks and their, you know what I'm saying, their aims on us, you know what I'm saying? And look, I've been saying this stuff about you control the children's mind, then you control like the next generation and how it goes down. And you want to instill something in your children that will want them to have self-autonomy and do everything they can to obtain it and protect it. And you want them to know the history because you want them to know how Black people protected their neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? You want them to know the ways that they may have lost, but the ways that they have won and how many times that they have won. And all of the things that they have created, so they can understand that, well, a lot of the technology has come from us, you know what I'm saying? It's just that other people use their technology for weapons and other people use their technology for advancement, communication purposes, and all of this stuff, you know? And maybe creating sound waves so that we can create channels so that We can put our sports league on TV, HBCUs on TV, our songs that we want to hear on the radio, and you know what I'm saying, ban disrespectful music towards us, you know what I'm saying, and gatekeep. But you have, the only way that you can gatekeep is if you put your mind to it and get your children into science, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost, because you damn sure don't want them in control of what your kids is learning in science, you know what I'm saying, especially in public schools, you know. But you want your kids to start to be literate in all of these areas, you know what I'm saying, but you also want them to have some kind of pride in themselves so they don't allow disrespect to their communities, you know what I'm saying, because we see what happens. Because right when it comes to us, oh, we're dividing everybody, but we see what it is with everybody else. So I'm gonna go to the next thing. Right, so, and this is in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying. One of their new school board members, you know, had to apologize, but he said he won't resign, you know what I'm saying. So let's see how we handle apologies and resignations compared to others.
Outrage over racist comments made by school board members. Tonight, the Wilson School District held an emergency meeting to let the community speak out and to demand the members' resignation. NBC 10's Johnny Arch was at the meeting and joins us live with new details. Johnny.
Yeah, Jackie, nearly 50 people spoke at this special meeting, including students at Wilson High School, where we are right now, community members, parents, and even teachers. The majority of them condemning those words that school board member said. The students even holding a petition calling for his resignation. Well, tonight, that school board member did publicly apologize, but he said he's not resigning. Do you feel that your actions, now that you understand what those words meant to some people, that you should be disciplined?
Yes, I think I deserve discipline, yes.
But Monday night, Wilson school board member Mike...
Yeah, we want $500,000. We want you to meet with local leaders of Black Lives Matter. We want you to watch, you know what I'm saying, a documentary on, you know, saying the Tulsa race riot. And then maybe we'll allow you to apologize.
Martin believes that discipline should not include resignation. Martin apologizing publicly for a statement he read last week during a scheduled school board meeting. Martin says he was reciting an online article that offensively characterizes people of color. He says these were not his words.
And many others get offended when they are called out for what they did wrong. If you don't believe me, ask a young thug politely to pull up his pants or watch how he looks and responds. Ask a Black person to turn down his music and observe the response.
Now, he's saying that wasn't his words, but he was representing for people like that. You know what I'm saying? He could be funded by, you know, that whole movement they got going on. Who knows, you know? But you better keep an eye on your local school board. All I'm saying is if you have kids or whatever, you better keep an eye on what's going on with your local school boards. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't even have kids, and I'm just showing you. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, I mean, there's no excuse. Maybe I should be going to the meetings too. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. And, you know, I'm like that too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to tell you, keep an eye on what's going on there. You know what I'm saying? Not even the advancements we need to make as far as, you know, our kids with science and math and reading and all the advancements that we need to make, you know. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on your local school boards because this is probably going on.
Words sparking backlash in the community outside of Reading. The school board holding a special meeting Monday night, voting to censure Martin, who's been on the board for more than 20 years. The majority of people commenting.
Yeah, Bukhari, that was his apology. That was his apology. Yeah, but I ain't stepping down on that. Well, I'm sorry. I ain't even want to say it. I'm gonna censor it because he wanted to say it, not me. You know, like he was saying, it's not my words.
Publicly at the meeting, calling for Martin's resignation.
I would like for you to resign. I have nothing to offer. I, like many others in the community, was appalled.
There were some who defended Martin.
Mr. Martin was trying to start a conversation about the responsibility of this board, administrators, and teachers about being more diligent and consistent in applying student discipline.
I hope you keep your seat.
Several speakers raising concerns about comments Martin made in the past about members of the LGBTQ plus community. The latest comments offending many kids of color in the school district.
It was upsetting that people think like that, and for him to come to a school board meeting and share those hateful comments, it kind of upset me that it was allowed.
So the school district says that.
All right, hold on one second. And like I said, just put it in the chat if you want to come on. I'll put the link in, but I'm gonna keep going though. But hold on one second. Now, listen, this was in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? And, he's saying that, oh, it doesn't make me racist because I tell an N-word to pull up his pants and stop playing that damn rap music, you know what I'm saying? And he's speaking up for the quote unquote white oppressed male because in their mind, you know what I'm saying, they have this oppressed gene, but it's irrelevant what they feel, you know what I'm saying? The relevancy is the actions that they took, you know what I'm saying? And in 2024, don't be surprised if this movement, you know what I'm saying, to replace teachers and to ban all of this stuff in public schools and to control the public schools a lot more and to reverse a lot of the quote unquote things that was supposed to uphold that Black people fought for in these colleges and, you know what I'm saying, in these public schools, don't be surprised if you see a lot of it overturned and they argue this quote unquote reverse racism thing, And obviously, if we offended, and like Bakari said, was that supposed to be an apology? And you see how many parents of the children of the schools are outraged, but they can't quite get them to step down, can they? You know what I'm saying? You can't quite buck break them the way that they try to do to us, can you? You know what I'm saying? Because we want to see what apologies and how apologies should be accepted. Because listen, man, my boy Kyrie, you know what I'm saying? Before I even speak on my boy Kyrie, man, let me share something with you, you know what I'm saying, about this Black Shyster Alliance. This is y'all boy Mark Cuban, and he explains why Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, should be punished, as they say. Now this dude, he ain't gonna go to no school board meeting like, yeah, this dude saying all this racist stuff, and we see all of these, moms for whatever the hell they are going to these school board meetings or speaking out against the stuff that our children face. But this is why you Negroes should be punished.
What Kyrie said or Kanye said, you just assume they're crazy and keep on walking, right? Right. But when they're asleep.
Wait, hold on. I got to start this over because of what he said. Let me refresh it. Now it's freezing up, but here we go.
When they're saying what Kyrie said or Kanye said, you just assume they're crazy and keep on walking, right? Right. But when they're a celebrity, you can't do that because you have a platform, and so people pay attention. I can't speak to Kanye. I don't think Kyrie is got a bad heart, right? But I think he's definitely not educated about the impact it has, and he's got a lot to learn. As a white guy, I've said things that I probably shouldn't have said, and I learned, right? People correct me.
Now we want $1 million to, you know what I'm saying, where you at in Dallas. So we want $1 million to the Houston chapter of the UNIA. We want, or at least to the something, you know what I'm saying, $1 million to, Black something, you know what I'm saying. We want you to meet with, you know what I'm saying, the local ministers of the Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying, we want you to denounce, the shyster role in the civil rights movement and how they tried to stay away, talking about, oh, we're gonna bring Semitic and stop saying those 2 white boys from like 80 years ago who died supposedly for black people, when, like Khalid Muhammad said, you don't know why they were there. I don't know why they were there. You don't know why they were there, and what they were doing at nighttime out in the woods somewhere. But we need you to denounce that, and also denounce some of those most of those slave movies that you put out that depict us as like weak and infantile, all the way back to the blackface. So we need you to do all of that.
And that's part of learning different cultures and learning to deal with different people. And we all make mistakes and we all learn from it, and I hope Kyrie does the same thing.
Right.
And you've all had to deal with it in your life. I'm Jewish. I've had to deal with anti-Semitism. People didn't know I'm Jewish and talking shit right when I'm in the room. And it's just
You make them apologize, or was you scared? You know what I'm saying? You're scared you're going to be called out for the shyster you are.
Yeah, getting into fights when I was a kid, all that stuff. And if there was just some dude on the street corner saying what Kyrie said or Kanye said, you just assume they're crazy. And
no, he was like, if there was just some dude out on the street, we wouldn't even care. You know what I'm saying? We would let those in, because what they gonna do to us. But since you Negroes have a platform that we give you because you don't control your own waves, you know what I'm saying, your own frequencies, your own radio waves, your own television waves, your own cell phone waves. Since you Negroes don't do any of that, we can take it all out on you, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna make sure. But right, because they was saying, right, well, we don't blame, because they was going at Dave Chappelle like, oh, what he went wrong was nobody blames black people for the Holocaust, you know what I'm saying? But they, on the same note, they're turning around saying because they have a platform, they're spreading hate that can cause violence to them, and their fear that some kind of harm can come to them because of what happened during the Holocaust. So they're talking they're being shysters right there. It's really a dumb argument, you know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to act like Kyrie is spreading Hitler's message or something, right? When clearly black people don't have no alliance with them, because you know what the difference between our relationship is? Black people, like we always do, you know what I'm saying, sacrificed ourselves to go fight for them, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's why I'm saying update our information to just from black first to black only, because we always supposedly are black first, but we are everything else second and third and fourth and fifth, and sometimes first. We would go over there and fight for them. We died for them. Had no role in starting the Holocaust, but they had a clear role in what happened to us and maintaining what happened to us. In Wall Street, we can go to the blackface. The history will be here all night. And they'll tell you that even speaking on that, or because, of course, we got to ban critical race theory. I guess we got to ban critical religion theory too, because it's not a race, right? This dude is a white dude, and he's saying somebody hates me because of my religion that I don't even practice, but for the sanctity and stand on code, I would practice this. I claim this, you know what I'm saying? I stand on this heritage. Yes, Raw. Yes, Raw. He did. So before I show you my boy, you know what I'm saying, he kind of caved. Give me 1 second. All right, Bakari, hold on. Let me put the link in the chat real quick. I'm gonna wait for Bakari to come on before we go to the next one. But yeah, clearly, you know what I'm saying? Because he like, yeah, a lot of people don't know I'm a shyster, you know, because I'm in the room. But, you know, he'll be the first one to be like, well, because he just told you there have been things that I've said, you know, but we'll accept any kind of apology. We'll accept anything, you know what I'm saying, from anybody. We don't stand up for ourselves because we don't control our school system. We don't, and we wonder why we have so much dysfunction in our communities, you know what I'm saying? Because let's be real, when we look at our communities, when, let's say, us as black men, black women, when we was playing our roles in our community. Yo, what up, Bakari?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, like Herschel Walker said, we don't need no CTRs in the school. When I win, I'm gonna make sure no CTRs. So running around. Man,
yeah, but
look.
he might got CTE though.
We don't need no CTRs in the school. But you know what? You say you finna play Kyrie, and I was watching that video you sent me, right? Now, this is just my theory. I don't normally say theories and stuff like this, but this is my, when they say like he was, I'll wait till you play it, then I'll speak on it. But I just wanted to come up here, you know, and that one dude, what the hell you know what? It was one time I knew of black people sticking together and white people. Now they ended up taking the guy off the show, but I was talking about this the other night when they had the Narcisse guy named Narcisse on this show on HBO called Boardwalk Empire, and it made it seem like that Marcus Garvey had him selling whatever was illegal, weed, alcohol, or whatever, tarnish his name. And man, the UNIA flooded them with letters to they apologize and took that character off the show. I remember that, and I wasn't even a part of the UNIA then, but I remember that though. That's like the only time. But they did ask people to stop watching it, and when they asked people to stop watching it, you know, black people, you know, the viewership went down. So then when the viewership started, you know, so even white newspapers started writing about it. Wall Street Journal, is HBO trying to tarnish Marcus Garvey's legacy? You know, so yeah, that's the one time that I can think of where it actually was something like that actually happened. But they didn't come back, like no real apology, didn't straighten it out on the show or anything like that. Just took him off. Yeah. I just wanted to say that. I'll go ahead and let you play Kyrie.
Yeah. And before we go to this, Bakari, let me tell you this and ask you this, because you talk about school boards. You like, you know, you one of the few people that I've heard talk about this. So, like, pretty much the whole show. I know you. It was late or whatever. They don't be giving notifications. I know, you know, but they at the beginning I showed Steve Bannon. He was talking about, you know, the thing that we have to attack specifically is the school board. Don't worry about this, the Congress, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about anything else, but you know what I'm saying, the school board, because that's going to be the key to change the people, you know what I'm saying? So now recently, you know, and I don't know if you heard about the Moms of Liberty and how they fighting for the school board. So like a lot of these black school board president or school superintendents is being fired, and they being replaced by they're coons involved, you know what I'm saying, and other white people, and they're immediately banning critical race theory. Now, you brought up, you know, what you said about Marcus Garvey, you know, and that's a key thing about, because you know how many black kids don't know about Marcus Garvey, Ida B. Wells, a lot about the truth about our history, how we fought back, Robert F. Williams, you know, that so much of our history, you know what I'm saying? So like with the critical race theory, all of these white bitches is doing what they did. They trying to ban books talking about Ruby Bridges doing the same thing that they did. Like they just want to have the fact they was spitting on her and all of this stuff, you know. But they're going to these school board meetings and they're standing up and they're getting on the school boards and they're actually changing the curriculum. Now, like, what do you think about that as far as like what you be talking about with the school boards?
More of us need to start running for the school board. More of us need to start running for the school board positions. And we need to be, even if we're not on the school board, we need to be more involved into the school, go to the meetings, that school board meetings. You can go to the school board meetings and you can see what they're talking about in the meeting. Be more involved in the parent teacher, the PTA. You know, there's things that we can do to combat everything that they are trying to do. You understand? So there's things that we can do. We just got to be willing to get out and do it. Everybody's not going to go to the school because everybody have, you know, that there's different fights. You understand? So, but we do need to have, once we get organized, we can have certain people in certain states, if that's their thing, y'all gonna keep up with the school board meeting, such and such going to the city council meetings, and we bring all this stuff together, and as a group, collectively, we discuss it and figure out our plan, how to combat all of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. That's a good plan, because, you know, I definitely agree with you when you talk about, because like you said, you go to the school boards and you speak up, you know what I'm saying? And we need more people like that. But even if you're scared, you know what I'm saying, at the very least, you can go there and be the spook at the door and let people, you know, bring it back to your community and show what's going on. But all of this stuff will keep happening until we are in control of our own institutions. And Bakari, you talk about the ham radio. And at the very, very beginning, as my intro, I played something a lot of people probably wouldn't even understand why I played it, but it was just about controlling the air, the waves in the air. People control the waves. Like, you remember we was talking about HBCUs wanting to get on TV. We're gonna have to build satellites and stuff, you know what I'm saying, antennas and transmitters to do that, or come up with technology, because I'm pretty sure there's a different way to harness it. But it starts with the education, you know what I'm saying? But to control it's not just like with the ham radio, it's also with being able to create radio stations, because right now you have to go through them to create a radio station, TV station. They'll control what you put on, and obviously we can't even talk about our own history without it being anti something, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, we do need to do that. We need to use the ham radio, and I'm gonna tell you something else we need once we truly organize and we ready. You know what a satellite phone is?
Yeah.
Yep, we need to get more satellite phones. Yeah, they're expensive too. But those are just things we need where we can stay in touch, and without people just being able to tap into everything that we say and do. You understand what I'm saying? Like with your satellite phone, you can block them. We can have real conversations on the phone, and it can be blocked. But can't nobody trace the call, hear your call, do none of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was saying, Bakari, you know, because to do that, like, you know, we need to be in different fields that we're not really competing to the aspect that we should be, like putting our own satellites up there so that we can control the satellites. Because like right now, even if somebody has a stronger antenna than you, they can get on your frequency and block your frequency, or listen to it, or whatever they feel like they want to do, you know what I'm saying? But also you can use different frequencies to spread different messages, you know what I'm saying? Even if it be like what they call Morse code, you know what I'm saying? You could pick a black person and call it that code, you know what I'm saying? But like, even if it's Morse code, like, you could communicate once you learn particular things when it comes to like science, and more importantly, weapons to defend yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be important. But yeah.
Yep, we most definitely need to know all of that. Yep, you can create our own code, create our own language, say words, you know, they don't know what it means, but we know what it means. Like Morse code, they might be taking that. So we need forecast code. You understand? Well, we can spell words out. You know, you can touch yourself anywhere as long as you touch whatever, however we want to do it. But that is something we need, and we need to make sure that we have. We need to be more organized, and that's our biggest thing now. That's why I always say we have to organize. We have to organize because we have united to a point, but we just have to organize though. That's our biggest thing right now is organizing.
Yep, exactly. And like Ross said, a lot of us is getting bent over, Bakari. So let me show my boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop stalling and show my boy. I won't stall
I'm
it, but
gonna
I'm
wait till you
saying
speak, and I'm
it.
gonna say my little. I'm gonna wait till you show it, then I'm gonna say my little theory about it.
All right, and look, man, I'm not even mad at my boy, my guy Kyrie here because listen, man, I'm not even mad at him because, like you said, if we need more organization and also black people being able to understand. This is why we need critical race theory, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
To return to the court for you since the suspension was handed down. Can you walk me through kind of what the past couple weeks have been
Now
like?
there's 20 minutes, so I'm only gonna play like the first few couple minutes, but you can stop whenever you want to say stop, Bakari.
Like, and what that process has been like for you?
Yeah, I would love to describe it to you.
Oh, I thought you were finished.
It was
the you talking about the interview? I'm gonna show that too, but that's
I
why I'm
thought
only
you
going.
No, but go ahead, man. But you can go ahead with this one. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
No, all right. So let me. Oh yeah. So let me do this. You know what I'm saying? Let me set it up now. Like now, my boy Kyrie is off suspension. He could play again. You know what I'm saying? Now to do that, they said he went above and beyond. But look, let's be honest with you. Once they put it in public, whether he did it or not, they was never gonna say because they can't make themselves look weak in public, going back on their word. So they was gonna have to say it. Now he probably did do it. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, you know. But to do this, he had to actually come on this show right here and offer this apology for him to stop playing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a learning journey, to be honest with you. It was a lot of hurt that needed to be healed, a lot of conversations that needed to be had, and a lot of reflection. And I got a chance to do that with some great people from the Jewish community, from the Black community, you know, from the white community. I've had so many conversations with all of our races and cultures and religious groups of people, just trying to better find perspective on how we live a more harmonious life. I'm a man who stands for peace. I don't condone any hate speech or any prejudice. That needed to be done, the healing that needs to be done still. So here I am, just
The air. Do you have any hateful ideation towards Jewish people, or are you anti-Semitic?
No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I never have been. I don't have hate in my heart for the Jewish people or anyone that identifies as a Jew. I'm not anti-Jewish or any of that. And it's been difficult to sit at home with my family, with them seeing all of this and having questions. And, you know, the part that hasn't been hard is explaining myself because I know who I am and I know what I represent. But I think the difficult aspect is just processing all this and understanding the power of my voice, the influence I have. I'm no one's idol. But I am a human being that wants to make impact and change. In order to do that, I have to live responsibly and set a greater example for our youth, for my generation and the older generation. So if I could do it over, it would be to heal and repair, you know, a lot of my close relationships with my Jewish relatives, brothers and sisters. You know, my journey is very unique. I grew up in a big melting pot full of different races, cultures, and religions.
Now, y'all could probably get the rest of this speech off the last like 600 years, but Carl, I don't say Jewish brothers and sisters. Now
I don't say Jewish brothers and sisters either. Hey, look, I'm gonna send you a picture right quick, right? I'm gonna email it to you. I want you to pull it. I want you to pull it up, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Let me know when you send it.
All right, I want you to just show this. Let me see right now.
Yeah.
I just seen it. It should be coming through pretty soon.
All right. Let
I
me
got. Go ahead.
No, yeah. All right. Let me play this joint and then I'm gonna show it. And then yo, this what you was talking about, Bakari?
No, I thought you were talking about the 2-minute one you sent me about his money. I have a theory on why he did apologize.
Hold on. I sent you the joint with a different another brother speaking, right?
Yeah, I say I have a theory on why he apologized.
Okay, I got you. All right, let me just play this because this was after the game and what they was talking about with and matter of fact, all right, hold on, let me stop playing it. I'm gonna say he should not have come with it. It was not gonna go all the way. Yeah. You know, he gave up his chance to go down in history, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. But all right, Bakari, hold on. I'm pull it up. So speak for a second.
Now, you know that my theory, right, on why I would say he apologized, right? And I saw the guy, he showed the video, the one that you showed me, he said he had $90 million net worth, right? Your net worth is what you have. That's what you have, like houses and cars and all that. They don't see what's in his bank. Now, this is me. He's a young man. This is just my theory.
And it count his deals that he has pending too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they don't know what's in his account, right? So this is my thing, right? Now, to me and you, we'll say this. So his career earnings through everything, basketball and endorsements, he have made $246 million, right? So once he pay his taxes and his agent, so just go ahead and cut that in half. 123 million. Now, to me and you, that's a lot of money. Now he done spent 90 million on houses, cars, jewelry, whatever the hell he spent it on, right? So there's still like 50 million, let me say like 30, 40 million left. To me and you, that's a lot of money. But my theory is, because I think he got 2 years left on his contract. So my theory is he apologized to get that last 66 million because he might be a point in his life where he's not going to be spending all that money. I don't know. That's just my theory, because I think he's owed like 66 or 67 million on the last 2 years of his contract with the Nets. That's just my theory on it.
So, like, what you mean? You mean like he's just saying it for now, and then he's gonna go back to what he was saying after he get it?
Yeah, because he only got 2 years left on that deal, and that's just what I believe. I believe he doing what he have to do to get that 66, 67 million. He probably don't need no more houses. He probably don't need, he had a party on the boat. So he probably don't need another boat. He don't need all those cars no more, all that jewelry, because he's a grown man now. He's in his 30s. So he probably see where he wasted some money and didn't need to waste it. And this is his chance to get that other, a 67 million, and that 67 million will be cut in half and it'll be like $33.5 million, but that's like 33.5 million that's going to go to his account. That's just my thinking on it. I could be wrong, but that's just my thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Bakari. How you know that money ain't going to the Moms of Liberty party on the boat with him? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it could be. I'm just saying. I was just giving I was just saying my theory. I think he's just trying to get some of that money back now that he's older and mature, that he'd feel that he done blow.
Yeah.
That's just my theory on it.
Yeah,
because even when he was talking to that guy and everything that he was saying, if you watch him, he really don't seem comfortable while he's up there saying all that stuff. Just look at it.
Yeah, he got.
He don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Yeah, he got bent over. Yeah, and probably.
That's why he's uncomfortable up there. Now let me show you let me tell you about what I just sent you. Right, I got that from Each One Teach One. But what I did was I looked up the story because like I say, they're great in history, right? So if you look at that, if you can make that bigger for people to look at it, right? Or you can see it and you can point to that. Okay, point to the arrow on the clothes then. Use your arrow to point. Show the yellow patch. Can't you see the yellow patch on the white person clothes?
Right here.
Yeah, the yellow patch. Okay, so Muslim was running shit then, right? Pardon my French. So what they did was, you had a different religion. So the Jewish religion, the Jews had to put a yellow patch on their clothes to show that they're part of the Jewish religion, right? Now, do you see who the Jewish police is arresting?
Yeah.
So that's what I would. So that's what I was so-called. And if you look around, you're not going to see one black person. And it's a big meaning to that pain. You can look that up on or you can just Google why the Jews wear yellow on their clothing, and you would see who the white Jews, who they are arresting and oppressing, and ain't nobody out there trying to stop it. So that's why I say it's us versus them, and the them is everybody else. I just wanted to show that because I thought that was interesting, especially after he said that, and you find everybody talking about we are the real Jews, and they want to be the real Jews, right? So do some of the stuff that the real Jews, so-called, because I don't get into. People have a right to have their religion, and they have a right to their belief, right? Kyrie have a right to their belief. Even the Hebrew Israelites, the crazy ones, I even include them. They have a right to have that belief. You see what I'm saying? It's not my belief, but they have a right to their belief. But if you feel that's you and you're God's chosen people, won't you do what those people do who say they're God's chosen people? Shit, put a black patch on your clothing and go around and start arresting people, kicking them out your neighborhood. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with
do
that.
what they do. He should do what they do. Since you the Jew and you got God protection, hell, do what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The Most High is Revelations 13:10. He who leads into captivity must go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. It's the patience of the Lord, or whatever it says. I'm sorry. All right. Well, okay. Alquan, what up, bro?
Yeah, what's up, man? You know, it's funny. What's up, Bakari? I was on
What's going on, Alquan?
I was on your man Brandon's show the other day when he had that Patty Jew on. And I asked her simple questions. You know, I mean, see, when it comes to this type of thing, you don't need to beat around the bush and argue about the same points over and over again over an hour or two. Just ask simple, direct questions. So I basically asked her where the artifacts for the red hair and blonde hair, blue-eyed, white so-called Semites at. And, you know, she told a story, intermarrying, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is she said they don't exist. So that proves that they're the imposters, number one. And if you're intermarrying, who's the source? And they try to say, and then you had other bootlickers trying to say, well, you know what? They intermarry, so that's why they don't exist. But where is the source at? Because we can see other Semites who are clearly black from the ancient world. So what's up with that? I mean, that's how you get direct. That's why I like to debate them, and I have before on a number of topics. And when you do that, you cut through all the BS and get right to the point and expose the lies real quick. Instead, see, when you get caught into that religious trap, you're going to be talking about that to no end. So just get with the facts, you know what I mean? But what's up, though, other than that?
Not much, but how come? Why you ain't sending that girl over here that came on your joint? You should have sent her over here.
Oh,
Don't leave, bro. Don't leave. Well, wait, why you ain't sending her over here?
Well, I didn't think you wanted that, but
I said it on your joint. I told her to come. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
ain't nobody gonna let her do that over here. What she was doing on y'all channel, the N word. See, she couldn't get away with that. She couldn't get away with that over here. Hey, but let me say this right quick. Raw, I was reading your comments. I agree. I was just saying what I think That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but I do agree with what you're saying about the sport. Because, like I said, I can say 30 million, a lot of money, but if you got 6 or 7 million left on the table, me personally, I don't see no need. You don't have to bend over. If you're gonna come out and say something, you stand strong with it. And if you lose that way. But you got to stand firm on what you say. You can't let people make you backtrack, because don't nobody ever backtrack when they say anything about black people. Actually, they talk bad about black people, and black people just catch on to it and start talking bad about themselves, then think of reasons why they should use the word. Because even though like me and Brandon cool, but shit, what Alquan said to him, I wanted to say that the day before, because Alquan, I don't think you were there the day before. Just using the N-word, calling folks the N-word right there in front of, with that white woman up there on the panel. The Hebrew. Yeah. Oh man, you should have been there the day before, Alquan. You should have been there the day before. I was on there the day before. Man, you could have seen how the Hebrew Israelites just started kissing ass. Damn. Well, you know, the reason they're winning, these the so-called, you know how they talk, right? Boy, they got on that panel with that white woman. Well, they are God's chosen people. That's why they're winning, and maybe we should just join them.
Man, I never heard no actual Hebrew Israelites talk like that.
They got on that panel with that white woman.
I did get at the Dallas one because I noticed they have a habit of calling white people brothers and sisters. A mistake is one thing, but when it happens all the time, I call them out on that shit, and they don't really have a good response.
So, you didn't hear what his name? General Yohana. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
They were out there on the streets talking about how they hate white people, and some white dude said something to him. Them over, I don't hate white people. God hate white people. He hurried up and said, I don't hate white people. God hate white people.
See, that's why I try to call Brandon out, because I cringe when black people will call people the N-word in front of somebody else, and then let that somebody else say, "Hell, well, I guess I'm here. I'm a part of the family. Let me tell you about some niggers." I bet you Brandon probably wouldn't even say nothing about it. Probably just be like, "Yeah, tell us about those niggers."
All right, yeah. So I don't really know that brother like that. So we're gonna keep going.
That's the only thing that day I was on there. That's the one thing that I was disappointed. I ain't saying a negative about him, but I was disappointed in that. But me and him, and if somebody else came on and left, we were the only ones that wouldn't kiss him. Because I did like Alquan. I went on and I straight pressed with some questions.
Yeah, I agree.
I pressed her. I started pressing her. She made like she could hear me.
Yeah, she got BSing a lot too. I'm having technical difficulties or trying to babble her way how to answer questions.
Right. That's why you can't reason with them. Like, that she can't bring that ghetto nonsense over here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was a little bit more sophisticated. Not overly
yeah.
sophisticated, but just a little bit more sophisticated. Trying a real slick.
But think about what she told you, Alquan. Think about what she told you. She said, I like when you talk about Tariq. Why are you talking about us? And that's something me and Forecast say that all the time. People don't understand how everybody else, when we do that, it's everybody else's entertainment. People laugh at us and they, why you talk? We like when you talk about Tariq. Why are you talking about me? I agree with you when you talk about Tariq, but don't talk about us, because it's everybody else's entertainment to see us do that to one another.
Yep. And she also, I said, why don't you cash app? And she's like, well, give me a physical address and I can send you something else. She didn't say what. There ain't no telling what she was sending, so I ain't giving that out.
I don't know. You might accept what she got to give you, bro. I don't know.
You never know what it might be. It might be a box of shit or something. You never know. Never know. Somebody might say, damn it, Cash App is simple to get. I told her that, if you really that serious.
Yeah, this is Shyster, bro. Like, but yo, this is so this was after the game, right? So they tried to get even though Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, he apologized and did all the things that they said he did all the things to get back on the court. But then this is like the post-game interview.
Ever have any fears, doubts, whatever, that you would never get this chance that you guys wouldn't be able to work through this and get you back here to playing for the Nets again?
Never had a doubt.
Hey, Kyrie, there's a group of about 100 people outside wearing the shirt of a group called Israel United in Christ, a group labeled as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They were outside in support of you and handing out
Poverty Center is a hate group themselves too, by the way.
Anti-Semitic literature on the plaza, people walking by. And I was wondering if I can get your reaction to that.
I didn't see it. What happened? There was a group outside?
There was a group outside, 100, possibly more. They were wearing a shirt called Israel United in Christ. They're a group labeled as a hate group by the
I think that's a conversation for another day. I'm just here to focus on the game.
Kyrie, but you've said this whole time that you didn't know what kind of what kind of voice you had. But if these are the people that are out here in your name, do you feel like that's a consequence of what you've done?
I Again, I'm just here to focus on the game.
Now notice they kept saying, "Oh, my problem with Dave Chappelle." Nobody was saying that black people was responsible for the Holocaust, but at the same time, you know, they're saying Kyrie has a platform and he's inspiring others to do hateful acts against shysters like Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote, trying to say that black people don't have this history of doing this stuff to them. And then speaking of critical race theory, of course, there's critical, you know, religion theory, I guess, with them, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't even talk about the crimes they committed against us, you know what I'm saying? And if that's not anti-black, you know, I don't know what is.
You keep saying critical race theory, man. It's Herschel Walker have already told you. It is C-T-R-A. Say it right. C-T-R-A. It's not C-R-A-T. Y'all trying to keep...
It's funny. My mother from Mississippi originally, and she used to say "ara." She used to say "blank." Blank.
Herschel Walker say it's the C-T-R-A. We need to get that out to school. C4Cast, you got to say it right now. You got to get that. You got to get that C-T-R-As out to school.
You know what else?
What's that?
The Southern Poverty Law Center. That's a small hat operation as well. And other Israelite groups they call the IUIC, and they show videos to prove it that they are possible agents in government control.
Who IUIC?
Yep.
I can tell you one thing, man. When me and my son went down there after Rayshard Brooks was murdered, and we went to that Wendy's, and they tried to make like black people had burned down the Wendy's and was doing that stuff. That was white folk. We were there. We seen. One thing I can say, they rolled deep. They were deep. I give them that. They were deep. They were dressed like they were deep. Man, I showed my little gun on my side, my AR, you know, me and my son, and a couple more. Oh man, as long as we got the Bible, they want to talk over everybody else. All we need is the Bible. I'm like, man, I ain't kill that dude with nobody.
Their leader used to be a cop.
I told I said, man, they didn't kill that dude with no Bible.
Yeah,
that was not a Bible they killed him with.
Yeah.
But they are deep, though. I give them that. They didn't come out there talking about hating other black folks. I told them I'm African. They was like, well, they didn't come out there with none of that. I would give them that, though. At that point, everybody out there was just black and was just the same. But I could tell it wasn't. It was a couple of them looked like they wanted to, but their leader, who was in charge, he went with all that talking about fighting back stuff.
But you know, the IUIC, you know, they will have some Mexicans and some Puerto Ricans and shit.
Yeah, I know. All of the different groups tend to do that, you know what I'm saying? But and shouts out to my brother Bobby, right? You know what I'm saying? But listen, you know, whether they are or not, I ain't met no leaders or not. I met some regular brothers who was out there, you know what I'm saying? And I know regular brothers are caught up in it, you know what I'm saying? And that's the problem, you know, we ain't getting control of our children's minds. So like we on the search or whatever, on some, you know, whatever.
Hey, you know, them Israelites don't like my friend, right? My one homeboy, he'll talk to him. He's a Christian, right? And he believed in Hebrew stuff like that too, but he's not going to tell you he's a Christian. He called himself the gun-toting Christian. So he believed black folks need to fight back, and he'll go in the Bible and say, why don't we use these? So the Hebrew Israelites, when he go to talking, because he'll be with me and he'll read out the Bible for them when they talking about out the Bible, and he'll talk about, you know, what you say, you live by the sword, you kill with the sword, you die with the sword, and he's a firm believer in that. So he trained and he do a lot of stuff like that. So the Israelites, they'll get mad with him because they don't think you need nothing but the Bible. But he's one. Matter of fact, I got two Christian buddies. One of them won't even talk to him at all. He just walk off. But the one who's a deacon in the church, he'll talk to him, and he believe in carrying his. Matter of fact, he have his gun on him while he's talking to him. And boy, they really get mad at him. God,
my man don't really believe it, huh?
Yeah, he believe. He believe God told him to have that gun to protect himself.
Nah, I didn't say that. But you know, some of these Israelites, because I spoke to a few of them, and you know, I like to see what each group's point is. They said once we get 144,000, we don't need nobody else. And then the point is they're not going to do anything. They're going to wait for Jesus to come back.
Yeah,
I said, man,
crack.
so in the end of the day, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, we waiting for the sky to crack, but that's what we all doing. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I was showing earlier. You know, even white bitches is out here making sure that the school board, they attacking strictly the school board just to make sure they get something done. You know what I'm saying? And whatever was it, the moms or whatever, moms of liberty out here changing the school boards while we out here waiting for the sky to crack. You know what I'm saying? But we don't realize the sky cracked like 600 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We the people that came through. You know, if you want to believe in that kind of stuff, you know.
The forecast. Now, what you just said, literally, it does not say it like that, but it is in the Bible. So that's what I tell people. See, when I talk to them, I don't try to tell people how dumb and stupid they are. I don't do that. But I talk to them about the Bible. And I ask them, so because you can go on and on and on and on in the Bible, but you ask them, when the disciples went to Jesus and they asked Jesus, how do we know when the end is near, right? So it'll say everything that's going to happen. You know what your old folks say, wars, rumors of wars, they've been going on for the last 5,000 years, right? Fires and all that, so on and so forth. Then it also say none of us here, none of you here, talking to the people right there, shall pass until these things happen. So that means you got to show me somebody about 3,000 years old walking around Earth, because the Bible saying none of them gonna die until that stuff happens, including including Jesus. So all of them. So when you read, and there's more stuff in there, Luke and John, that'll talk about Jesus, because Jesus has been back. They've already eaten all this stuff we saying. What you said is in their Bible. So when you talk to them, you just got to. That's why I say you have to read the Bible a little bit, and then you able to point it out to them. Now, if you're talking to a Jehovah's Witness, they're gonna tell you you're gonna knock the bottom out of hell, just like they told me. But hey, even though they reading out the Bible, and you can show them this in the Bible, like Jesus, we've been left here on our own. If you believe that's, like you said, if you believe that type of stuff, so
yeah, but you know,
we've been left with.
No, go ahead, my bad.
No, that's it. You know, that's why the Bible also say faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith you want, but if you ain't working, doing what you believe in, doing things that you say that you need, if you ain't out here working toward it, it ain't gonna happen. That's in their book too. So you know, that's why I say you have to be able to know their book just a little bit. So when you talk to them,
Your forecast, I'm not watching football. Even though I was watching it.
It probably went off.
I think it's still on. I think.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it was in the fourth quarter.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. But you know, it's all right. We've been buck broken, and y'all are still watching it anyway. So, but that's why I'm not mad at my man sitting here apologizing right now. That because of y'all. Like we could say entertainers and stuff because they play a role. Like, but we can't act like we don't play a role too. You know what I'm saying? With what we choose to do. You know what I'm saying? With our time and money. You know, so we can't get mad at that brother all the way without being mad at ourselves a little bit because we getting bent over too. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Well, I mean, when you got Kyrie Irving saying what he's saying here, that's what he should have said when the whole thing first broke out. I'm here to talk about basketball.
Yeah, true. But he's entitled to his religious opinion, though. Like, you know, that's supposed to be protected if you're a citizen.
Yeah, if it's religion. But Israelites say it's not a religion, though.
I don't know. He was like on my search for God in my name or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said.
That's why I believe it's all scripted, because I knew he was going to get back on the team. I mean, you got the Chinese owner saying he's on fit, but yet apparently he's fit again.
Well, yeah, he got buck broken. You know what I'm saying? He did everything they told him to do, like Negroes would, and they knew that we wasn't.
I would have told him to kiss my ass. That's what I would have told him to do. Matter of fact, I would have waited out the contract, get paid, and then say, you know what, I retire from the NBA.
But you would have to apologize to do that, though, to wait for your contract to go up. You know what I'm saying?
You can fight that in court because the contract is the contract.
All right, good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Because they say you violated team ethics. You know what I'm saying? You violated ethics that's in the contract. You know what I'm saying? And they could just make up, whatever they want to. This is like, they could do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how ethics can be in the contract. I can see if you sign with for Nike, I can see that, but
It
not
could,
for
yeah,
not for playing basketball.
yeah. It's like, yo,
Basketball contract is guaranteed because I remember when Mahmoud stood his ground and wouldn't change his mind. He never got in front of the camera and switched up, never apologized, never did none of that. And he sat the bench for the last 2 years of his NBA career in his prime, and everybody knew that he was the best player on it. And they would just put anybody, Bobby Hurley, they would put anybody in the game over him, just leave him over there on the bench. But they knew if they cut him or got rid of him, they would have to pay him that money.
That's how they punish him. And my man still had the skill. It's a shame, you can't speak your mind.
yeah,
That's how you know who's real and who's not.
facts. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. If you,
No, I was just saying, see, Kyrie Irving ain't real.
yeah, he got the organic Negro hat on right now, so
He's a real entertainer, and I think that's one thing we do. We look too much at entertainers about what they say and what they do. And then in actuality, they're not saying or doing anything. Because look at Kanye Kardashian. He came back and he apologized. He did all that, and people still going out here, and everybody can tell. If you got an IQ of 22, can tell that dude there is everything he's doing. He's just seeking attention.
Yeah.
But he's an entertainer, and they will put the camera in his face, and our people tend to just follow their cameras.
yeah. But and before we get on Kyrie, and by the way, Harco, how much points did Kyrie have in this game back?
Actually, I didn't watch it.
Oh, that's what's up. That was a trick question. You passed it.
I only saw one NBA game this season, half a game.
Okay,
That
that's what's up.
was with the Warriors, but that was about it.
Okay, yeah, because we could say like they're entertainers, but we like to be entertained, don't we? You know what I'm saying? We can't hold them, like we can hold them accountable, but not without saying that we the ones that's supporting all of this stuff. Because I know for sure that I go to work to get a paycheck and I have to pay, you know what I'm saying, whatever to even be on here. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact because we don't have our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like before we can get on them, you know what I'm saying? Because like they, especially if they're maintaining a lot of lifestyles. And I have to say about him, because a lot of people putting out there, he donated to that sister, you know what I'm saying, that got killed, GoFundMe or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
How much?
It said like 65,000, I think. I'm not sure though.
I guess compared to what everybody else probably gave, that's a lot. But compared to what he could give, that ain't much. You want to get the Jews $500,000, so.
Yeah, forced to give. That's what I'm saying. He was forced to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Remember, I think they rejected it though. They said, "Nah, we don't want that."
Oh no, they may have rejected it, but they're shysters. They're gonna be like, well, they put you make sure you see one of the stipulations was $500,000, right? You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question, Forecast. Which one do y'all think is more embarrassing? Coming back to have to apologize like that, us standing firm on your square and sitting the bench in the prime of your career when people talking about all you got to do is apologize and we willing to give you this much because you're an all-star, but you willing to sit the bench behind players that shouldn't even be in the NBA. Which one is more embarrassing?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead first.
I was gonna say bootlicking and apologizing for the money, while Mahmoud Rauf, what he did was hardcore because he probably could have been in the Hall of Fame. That was off the table. Obviously, would have got more money. That was off the table. Probably won the championship. That was off the table. But see, he stood his ground, and you have to make those sacrifices and take the power away. Now, if other people would have been with them instead of being cowardly, then they would have had more power. And see, when you show that you're standing with the man, then other people pay attention. But see, they know that the average Black person coming into sports, that's why they keep repeating the story every time on these shows. They know that you grew up poor, most likely, and you want the millions, you want the contract. So you're not gonna say, "Oh man, I ain't trying to get into sports." That's the only real reason why you're getting into sports is for the money. And then you hear stories about some people who's had a good prospect and then they die before they got a chance to get in the league. There goes their money. So what Mahmoud Rauf did was more honorable, but it would have more weight if these other cowards would get with these guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would say this, Kyrie Irving lost his chance to go there because Kyrie Irving is probably a better player than any other person that did this, you know what I'm saying? And but why I won't be hard on Kyrie because of what you were saying about, the money thing, because we is trapped on money, and he understands that maybe he looks at it like, of course I can look at it right now like, yo, that brother made the definite sacrifice and whatever and did the things that we were supposed to do. But also Black community really didn't step up for him as a whole. Black players didn't speak up for him. We still went to the games, we still watched and everything, you know what I'm saying? And with Kyrie Irving, we spoke out. I seen this young brother who got a channel, you know what I'm saying? What they be on there on like some young brothers. They was talking about it, they was pissed off. And the dude was like, if y'all really that mad about this, you know what I'm saying, then cancel y'all league pass. And all of them young brothers got quiet, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, so y'all really need to shut up about it, you know what I'm saying? And say that man blamed himself, you know what I'm saying? But of course they went on him, the dude calling him a coon, but he's absolutely right. But as long as we make the same decisions in our everyday life, because I seen brothers who could have walked off their job and whatever, but they think about their kids, their children, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he a brother. Maybe he thinks about his community and he can help more people with the money than he can without it. And he was like, oh, well, maybe I just got to be humble and take this hit. But that's a hit on us. I think we got to take an L. So, obviously I don't think that, but that this is better than what the brother did. But I ain't gonna be as hard on Kyrie Irving as probably most people will be,
Hey, something? Like people were saying like Michael Jordan didn't stand with Mahmoud. No, he didn't. Well, they didn't stick the microphone. They put the microphone in Michael Jordan's face one time. And Michael Jordan said he had a right to do that. He ain't bothering nobody. But they didn't put it in Michael Jordan's face no more after Michael Jordan made that statement. Now, I'm not trying to say Michael Jordan stood up for no Black folks and that, but what I'm saying is he didn't bash Mahmoud. Boy, they kept the first person who they stuck that microphone in their face for Charles Barkley. Well, you got to look at how he talk, can't hardly pronounce the word. You got to look at Olajuwon. He's the ultimate Muslim, and you ain't never seen him do nothing like what the hell is the ultimate Muslim? He's the ultimate religious person? What the hell is the ultimate Muslim? He's the ultimate Muslim, and you ain't never seen him do nothing like that. You can't be out there disrespecting the flag. So next week, well, he's still out there disrespecting the flag while people trying to stand up and sing the national anthem and, and look at our great country and our great flag. He want to take some jump shots. They kept sticking the microphone in people's face like that over and over and over, just like they did. Oh man, what's that point guard name who choked the coach? Played with Latrell. Rod Strickland. Yeah, Latrell Sprewell. Rod Strickland played with him. But they asked Rod, so they went and talked to these players, and they almost didn't want to stand their ground, right? So they put the microphone in Rod Strickland's face. Rod Strickland said, I've been told y'all, none of these white coaches, and this is why Rod Strickland didn't get the time that he deserved, right? Because Rod Strickland was outspoken. He said, I've been told y'all, these white coaches don't know how to talk to Black men that got money. They think we boys, and we ain't no boys. So players been telling y'all this was going to happen. And I forget what he said, but when Rod Strickland said, but whatever it was he said, it was very disrespectful and insulting to a grown man. So I stand with Latrell Sprewell. I stand with Latrell Sprewell. So guess what? He ended up being like Mahmoud, as sitting the bench the rest of his career, regardless of how good he was.
No. Remember, he went to the Knicks, went to the finals.
Not after that, though.
Yeah, after that.
Yeah, after that, yeah.
And then he,
Ross
they gave
Ross
they
Strickland
offered
played
him
in the NBA now.
not Latrell Sprewell,
Yeah.
and they offered him
Yeah,
a contract, but
I think
he wanted
he
more money. Then
apologized.
that was the deal.
Ross Strickland.
Yeah, but Sprewell's the one who did it.
Yeah, I'm saying he apologized.
Yeah, he had to.
If I remember,
I was surprised they let his ass back in after that. To be honest with you,
they fired their coach too. But he's telling the truth about Ross Strickland was telling the truth. They don't know how to deal with grown black men because they think they don't want to, because they think they can treat you like a little kid, a little boy. I almost said kid, but they want to treat them like a little kid. I can use kid in this instance. They want to treat us like a little kid. They don't know how to deal with a grown black man who gonna stand his ground. That's why what's his name was a failure in the NFL. The coach at Alabama. That's why the coach who was at Oregon, I think now he's at LSU, was a failure in the NFL because they don't know how to deal. Yeah, they don't know how to deal with grown black men. They don't know how.
Nick Saban, all of them.
That's the coach from Alabama right there.
Oh, okay. I remember reading something on that choking incident. Latrell Sprewell said something long after he retired. I think he said something that he never knew it. He had it in him, and he said he almost felt like he could have killed that guy that day. Which, of course, if you're choking a man, that stands to reason.
Yeah, well, all he had to do was visit some Jewish leaders, and he got back in the league. So, let me play the rest of this so we could get through the rest, because the last couple joints quick. So let me play the rest of this.
Forgive me if you've been asked this already, but when you were suspended, there were a lot of players around the league. Jaylen Brown is one specifically that didn't like the way your suspension was handled. I'm just curious if you ever thought about filing a grievance or exploring those avenues at all.
I got to leave that to my legal team and leave it to the warriors I have around me. I have some strong people, men and women around me that are going to do everything possible to make sure that I'm protected and my family's protected and we protect one another. So, I'm sure some things will be done in the future, but there's no timetable on that right now.
Hey, Kyrie. I know you said you just want to talk about the game, but this morning you talked about recognizing the platform you have, wanting to unify. You're being asked about things that are being said in your name.
That's the second or third time they're asking
this. Promoted. I'm curious, I guess, how do you go about deciding when's the time to use a platform and when's not, and when you decide you're going to react when you say someone's here to talk about basketball?
I would like to be on a platform where I could openly share how I feel without being harshly criticized or being labeled or dealing with, outside perceptions that have nothing to do with me. Again, I said this morning, I just want to elaborate on just everyone getting to know who Kai is and who AI is and what I represent in my tribe. That's it.
All right, so he said his tribe, y'all. So, he's keeping his whatever to a certain degree, but he just want to play basketball. The basketball is more important, and probably those contracts, because it says he's worth 90 million. You know what I'm saying? And we understand worth versus what you actually, have buried under the ground. It's two different things. So, I got a couple other quick videos if y'all want to say something about Kyrie real quick.
Hey, I give him his props on this. He fired them white folks and hired his stepmama to be his new agent. He got a black agent. He fired them and hired his stepmama. I give him props for that. Because we be talking, because we run straight to them. As soon as you get money, you run straight to them to be your agent, your accountant, your attorney, every damn thing, and they be stealing your money and don't nobody ever say a damn thing like they did Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens,
how's that working out for Lamar Jackson so far?
Well, he just ain't signed it. They ain't offered him a contract, so it don't make a difference.
They did, but they didn't give him. He wants more than what Watson got. That's what his mother.
And I don't blame him. If they don't give it to him, he'll get it. I don't blame him. Hire somebody who you know and trust. I don't blame him. It worked out just fine for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he's different. He's different though.
No, he ain't. I don't blame them. You don't know them white folk. We quick to talk about them, but you quick to want to trust them with all your money and everything. Then they go invest your money in some casinos and supposedly some casinos in the state in which they invested your money in. Don't even have no damn casinos. Then you broke. Oh, we invested 20 million of your 20. We invested 22 million of your 25 million. But don't nobody ever call them a thief.
Well, Lamar Jackson, he better take that money before his mother ruins everything. Because he ain't getting no Deshaun Watson money. The Browns, they were in a bind, so to speak. So they kind of had no choice but to do that.
Yeah. What up, Dwayne? Bobby Wright said Robert Parrish used to say you got to watch those white agents and accountants.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, you do. And you run it. Think about it, man. Just go look up everybody. Go look. I'm willing to bet you 98%. I'm going to say 98% of black athletes, professional athletes, entertainers, their managers, their agents, their attorneys, is white. Look at what the guy named Bernard Hopkins. Talking about what? Guess what he said made him better than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
What's that?
A white girl? Or?
No, he have Jewish attorneys. He have Jewish agents. He have Jewish financial advisors. Everything around me, I put the Jews around me so they can handle, and everything is going to be. That's what make him better than Floyd Mayweather.
I know. I never heard nobody complain about Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s finances.
but then when you look at Floyd Mayweather, everything around Floyd Mayweather is black. Yeah. His manager, his agent, everything around Floyd Mayweather is black. He didn't get them people to represent. Huh?
I said he's paid right too. I never heard nobody saying that he ain't paid the way he's supposed to be paid.
Yep, he didn't go get them people, but Bernard Hopkins was on the Breakfast Club, and that's what he said. That's part of the reason he's better than Floyd Mayweather. His career.
But wait a minute. What do you mean? That doesn't make sense because Floyd Mayweather is undefeated, considered one of the greatest of all time, pound for pound.
Yeah, you're right. It don't make sense, but that don't mean he didn't say it. Maybe them punches to that's what everybody was like, man. This don't even make sense. This dude just sitting up here, the same dude who used to be on HBO before he started making real money. Well, he was making money. I ain't gonna say not making real money. Before he was able to get a $10 million fight, the same dude who was on there fighting for $1 million, complaining about how they treat black fighters and so on and so forth, and we don't get what we deserve. As soon as he started making money, all of that changed, and he got rid of the people, and he had to go get the Jews, and that's what he was. I have the Jews lawyer, I have the Jewish attorneys, I have the Jewish finances advisor, I have the Jewish accountants. So I put people around me to make sure. Then he started talking about how you white Floyd Mayweather. 5 years after he retired, he's gonna be dead broke. Yeah, he was on he was on the Breakfast Club. He did an interview on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, but he was fighting.
I wonder why they had him up there.
Yeah, but he was like fighting until he was like 47. So
yeah,
you know.
And then embarrassed himself. He gonna go out with a win, and he asked some white dude, the fat guy. I can't think of that fat mother. Dan Rafael, whatever the hell his name, used to work for ESPN. Who should he fight to get a victory? And he called out this white dude, and Dan Rafael told him to go fight that white guy. He get in that white dude's face, and he ain't never been a white person can whoop me. He done said all that shit about Floyd. Now I was still pulling for him to whoop that white boy, but that young, he 50. That young white boy was 24. Hit his ass out the head and knocked him out the damn ring.
Yeah, he was past his prime, but like for a stretch there, he was like the guy you had to beat to be considered a contender from like 40 to like 45. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't the serious dude, but you got to beat him to be in the top class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was way past his. He was 50 years old. That was his last fight. He was literally 50. That dude hit his ass out the head and knocked his ass out them ropes.
His Jewish advisors advised him to do that. Because Floyd made
yeah,
at least he got out at a decent age. You know, they like to keep on bringing boxers back and trying to work them to death till they're 55.
But y'all seen this though? I seen Floyd Mayweather like talking about the dude trying to hype him up. I don't think he should though. You know, that dude Paul or whatever, that white boy, you know, he's trying to fight Mayweather now. You know what I'm saying? Mayweather considering it for the money, like exhibition though, but you know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't count on his record, but they trying to make money.
You know what they keep trying to do? They're trying to put an L on my man's record. That's what they keep trying.
Exactly.
And they mad because he didn't get the L. And when you go look at his old fights, he fought the best. It's a thing of beauty, man, what Floyd Mayweather Jr. was doing. Takes fight skill to do it.
The one,
yeah, that Mexican boy couldn't even touch him.
No, he couldn't. Couldn't nobody touch him. Floyd was the man, even though I was a Sugar Shane fan. I liked Floyd too, but I was more of a Sugar Shane fan. And I was mad because he beat the dog doodoo out of Sugar Shane. But I even give him props for that.
but I can't.
You know, he didn't fight a lot of black fighters. I'm gonna tell you why I gave him props. When he started making money, it was more money in fighting Mexicans. Shane Mosley had just gone through a divorce. Now his wife ain't never stepped in no ring, and the state of California gave her all his championship belts. Got half of everything.
That Mexican looking girl.
Damn.
Yeah, she was Asian. And but what Floyd did when Shane was going through that divorce, because in California now she got half. But once you sign the divorce papers, even though you ain't divorced, you can't get no you can't get none of the earnings that he makes since the papers signed. When he fought Shane Mosley, and Shane Mosley, they was talking about his financial situation since their divorce. Shane Mosley is the only fighter, once Floyd made a big name after De La Hoya, that he let get 50% of the pay-per-view. Shane had a guaranteed $7 million, and I think he ended up making $18 million. And Floyd said he did that for a brother. He let him get half of the damn. He's the only one he was letting get like half of the upside on the pay-per-view with him.
See, that's a good brother.
I give him his props for that. I give him his props. He damn sure did.
So I see Bobby Wright. He said his favorite boxer was Pernell Whitaker. He was very nice too. That's why him and Floyd Mayweather Jr. They're like similar with that defensive. I mean, you watch their highlights, man. Those are some super bad individuals, man.
Yeah. And all right, so y'all, we gotta finish up because there's one more thing I want to show. But and Bakari, I want you to point out though how we had a conversation about boxing and we kept it to boxing, but you know, like I still know that whatchamacallit be cooning a little bit though. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? You know that, right?
Not much as he used to.
You see, but I'm just saying we kept it on boxing. That's all I'm saying.
But not much as he used to.
All right. So let's go to the last thing because y'all brought up you Alcorn talked about IUIC. All right, so these was the brothers outside of the Barclays Center, and it's more than 30 though. It is more than 30.
Some of us used to be in the club.
Now you telling me all of them brothers? Some of them brothers is just brothers that's like, you know what I'm saying, trying to look for something and do right, you know? Now, I wonder how many Hispanics and Native Americans was out there, you know what I'm saying, since they're part of the group. But, you know, at least it's black men that's out there, you know what I'm saying, marching. Now, we can aim their direction a particularly whatever way, but, you know what I'm saying, I'm not sure how y'all feel about this, you know what I'm saying. Y'all can say something or we can go to the very last thing that I'm going to show.
Yeah. let me just say, IUIC, they always roll deep. And, they look more organized, but again, other groups say that they are backed by the government. And you can't see sometimes when they're lined up, a lot of times they'll line up in a pyramid shape, which of course they're against the Egyptians. So you got to ask yourself, why would they want to do that?
I don't know. I mean, pyramid is like a pretty universal shape, though, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Israelite.
I give them brothers props for being out there. I would say that, them Israelite camps will hate on one another, but I would give them props for that.
Yeah,
they out there and they screaming, they in unison. They got them. They sound like damn basic training. Yeah, that's what they sound like. I ain't gonna lie. It sounded good. It's some type. Now we can say, oh, they needed the Bible to organize them, but whatever organized them, they were organized enough to get out there and do that.
Yeah,
and I give them props for that.
Yeah, I feel you. How many Native Americans you think was out there, and Hispanics?
No,
I'm sure they always got some Hispanics in their crew.
I ain't never seen none with IUIC. Even when I see them here in Atlanta, I never see nothing with them but black people. Now, I ain't saying ain't none in their crew, but I've never seen nothing with them but black people. That's it.
I've been watching the Atlanta videos for years, and they throw a Mexican here and there in there.
Oh, for real?
Yep.
Like when I see them out, I never see nothing with them but black folks. But forecast, that's to my point right there. When we see them out, that's why we losing, because everybody else putting in their work, man. They outworking us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And listen, this is the last thing right here. And you're right, Bakari, they outworking us. And the next brother they probably target, if this thing ever load up, is the brother Jaylen Brown. If you notice, he's the only brother who actually stood out there. Now he's the Players Association vice president, but the president, CJ McCollum, went all the way out there on the other side. You know what I'm saying? But he was one of the only ones who was defending Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? And now they are kind of on his neck low key, because he retweeted them IUIC brothers. You know what I'm saying? He retweeted a post because he like, I'm gonna let him explain it, but they're asking him about retweeting a post about them. So now they probably be on his neck.
Yeah, I didn't have my reading glasses on. I didn't know who that group was, but my instincts when I first saw that video is that I come from a community torn every day by systemic representation of systemic representations and imageries of violence in our community. So when I saw that video, it struck a chord just for different reasons. I saw a large group of people from our community showing support for him and his return. So me being proud of that support and being proud of our community, for doing that, does not mean I endorse or celebrate some of the things that were being done or being said. Like in my community, we just lost one of our icons and one of my neighborhood heroes in Takeoff from issues that I think stem from representations of, violence in our communities. So my instincts when I saw that was
racist.
I didn't notice
or
whose
racist
group it was.
people.
I just noticed
Racist
the
white
support, and that's what I commented on. And I reemphasize, I don't think that everything that is said or being done is something that I endorse or represent. But in the future, when I'm a father, I'm not yet. I would like my son or daughter to see more representations of people of color, brown people and black people standing together on issues, rather than seeing, images of violence in our media, in our music, in our movies that we don't entirely promote or profit from. Those are my thoughts. And I think that any media group or person in attempt to discontort my words or discontort my attempt to support someone
clearly has an agenda. And those are my thoughts this morning.
You obviously your initial tweet is still up. Is that because you kind of still say, hey, this is how I feel about this situation?
Removing, like I said.
Now they was like, you see, they try to bully him into removing his retweeting those IUIC brothers that was outside the thing supporting Kyrie. They're like, yeah, so you're still on your Twitter, you know what I'm saying? So what you got to say about that N-word?
Still say, hey, this is how I feel about this situation.
Removing, like I said, removing the tweet will be removing my support for him and his return. That was what my agenda was when I tweeted it. And I think anybody trying to discontort or misconstrue what more my support was has a separate agenda at hand, and that's not what I was trying to do at all.
Do you understand, like, this group has been identified by the Anti-Defamation League as homophobic, racist?
Like I said, I didn't know which group was outside.
The ADL, they've been identified by the ADL as all of the things that they are. They're what they call it, projecting.
Homophobic, racist.
Like I said, I didn't know which group was outside or who was out there representing. The only thing that I saw was that there was a large group of people from our community that I was supporting, you know, Kyrie and his return to the game, to the NBA. And in our society, we don't see a lot of representations of that. You know, we see representations of, you know, violence through media and et cetera. So to see a large group of people in support of that, I don't think anything was wrong with showing support to that. And everything that I, you know, by supporting that does not mean I endorse everything that is being said or done.
Contact and conversations have you had with Kyrie?
I've been in contact, you know, as a union member, you know, as a former teammate, just to show support through the situation that he's been going through, you know, being exiled from the game. Of course, emotionally, it's a lot on our league, but it's a lot on, you know, everyone who's a fan of this game. Kyrie has contributed in a lot of ways to the game of basketball. So for him to be able to come back and be on the floor last night, I thought was something to celebrate. I thought that was something to support. You know, obviously the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets decided that whatever, you know, the disagreements were or the concern was obviously handled, and we were moving on. So I was supporting that decision.
All right, so yeah, obviously, you know, the people who talk about anti something the most is probably the most anti because of all the things that they've done, you know, and they're trying to put this brother on blast for retweeting it, you know, and he had to, you know, walk it back like, yo, I ain't have my reading glasses on and stuff, but at least he stood on his position somewhat. I think he's trying to do what he thought Kyrie Irving should have done, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, who knows? They may make him, you know what I'm saying, the next target, you know what I'm saying? But any of y'all got any thoughts about that?
Well, at least the man handled himself well, even though I was trying to look up the word discontort as he was speaking, because I'm like, that's a new one for me. I couldn't find anything on that word. So, but other than that, my man handled himself very well, and he stood his ground, and for the most part. And you know, you notice how they keep probing, talking about they're homophobic and all that kind of stuff. See, me, I get up there if I was one of them. I say, man, what do you mean? Do I have to agree with gays? I mean, I'm not into that. So what I need to agree with that for? That's for gays to defend. Don't ask me to worry about that. You know, sometimes you got to say all that kind of stuff too, instead of being scared of that. Because you don't have to be pro-gay. You don't have to be pro-Jewish. It's not against the law to be anti-Semitic, you know. But it's just that it's against your finances to be because they run everything. But you know,
what is anti-Semitic?
Well, you know, some bullshit that they made up. Matter of fact, I think that was another question I asked her, that lady, about to explain the Semitic stuff. She even admitted that they're not Semites. So I mean, but again, it's as long as you got a good thing going, people are going to believe whatever is working. And we got a good thing going.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe Lynn. I don't know if that brother got gray hairs or not. You know,
I was looking at his beard. I thought, was he supposed to be 27?
yeah, he a young brother, but he may be stressed out. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you see, they on his neck. They probably gonna get at him next. Yeah, go ahead, Bakari.
You know what? He stood his ground. He gave an answer, and they couldn't catch him, and they couldn't catch him up. He stood his ground while giving a politically correct answer too. He did damn good. They were trying to catch him up, and you could tell he sounded like he might have wanted to say some other stuff, but they couldn't catch him up, and he stood his ground. And I'm glad he stood his ground and what he said, right? You know, when he say, see black people coming together, he say black and brown. I'm gonna just leave it at black, but I understand what he's saying. I understand exactly what he's saying, and I'm glad he said we need more representation like that in our community. Then he mentioned the music, and he mentioned the movies, the representation of us, and we don't really even get paid from it, you know? So I'm glad he stood his ground. He didn't back down.
Yeah, he brought it to black issues. You know, he did throw the black and brown in there, you know, and having the courage to stand on your own. But you know, it's still at the end of the day, you like bound by money. And as for as many trap questions as y'all see, they try to ask them to make sure, like, of course, with Kyrie, they're gonna be like, yo, have you learned your lesson yet in the word? You know what I'm saying? And with Jaylen Brown, they may try to make an example out of him because they're like, oh, you gonna stand up for him, you know, even after he stood up, after he apologized himself, you know, and he still brought it back to the issues. But, you know, at least he didn't back down to, you know, a certain degree. I wish we had a little bit more unapologetic with us, but, you know, none of that's going to happen until we start controlling, you know, what we got going on. Because like we said, like with the school boards, until you start controlling the school boards and getting your children to get into science and being able to get into like things where they can create technology to advance us, you know, getting into creating satellites so we can transmit our own stuff. That's why in black countries it's hard to do a lot of stuff, because we gotta do all of these things on our own so we can control our own media, so we can put our own sports on TV. So it's okay to go to, like, you know, our own schools, you know. So all of these things is like, you know, what are we going to do here? Are we going to start standing up? Or are we going to continue to be slaves, you know? Because and that's not to judge anybody, because, you know, I'm right there with them, but, you know, he's not going to go out on the line, but so much. And because the ADL said that they're a terrorist group, you know what I'm saying? So he had to be like, you know, I condemn them and their views, but, you know, all they really do is teach the Bible, and they beat that into us. So, you know what I'm saying? Why can't they talk about the stuff they beat into us? You know what I'm saying? And if they want to be able to talk, like, you know what I'm saying, or think if I want to be able to think I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I have the right to have that religious view, you know what I'm saying? Or if I want to think the earth is flat, I got the right to have it. And y'all got the right to challenge me on my views, but you don't got the right to shut me down for saying those views, you know what I'm saying? But other people got the right to shut you down as long as you are, you know, slaves to their money. But I'm gonna close it out. But y'all want to say anything?
Well, I'll go ahead then. Look, man, I'm glad you let me get on.
You ain't got to close it out yet. I'm just saying. Well, you can if you want to. If you got to go, I'm just saying. Y'all want to say anything?
And I'm gonna listen offline. But you're right. You have a right to your views. You have a right to your religious views. You know, whatever. If you choose one of those Abrahamic religions and that's what you want to follow, you have the right to follow that.
Wait, Bakari, say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say, because I want you to close out after this. You know what I'm saying? It's only gonna be a couple seconds. I just uploaded a video. Hold on. I know. Say what you're gonna say. I want you to say that, but I'm just saying, wait 1 second. I want to show you this before you close out. I just want you to see this as it, because I don't want you to just leave with, you know what I'm saying, weakness. I want us to see some kind of strength here, you know.
Well, Jaylen Brown wasn't weak, but go ahead.
All right, hold on. It should, or is stalling now. It's about to play. I hope.
Oh yeah, I remember this. My man got rocked.
Yeah. I had to go some. I call it positive. There you go.
Fuck my mama, fuck your mama, nigga. Fuck your mama. You know what I'm saying? I live on 400 Oxford Avenue, 2 blocks away. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm gonna walk to you. I'm gonna walk right to my house for you, bro. Oh God, I'm not trying to disrespect you, bro. I'm not.
Listen to John Brown, Bakari.
Every day. Are you kidding me? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where you from? Where the fuck you from, nigga? You from here? Get the fuck out of you, a clown, nigga. Oh God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown. What, you gonna smack me with that? Smack me. Smack me, nigga. Come on, yeah. Drop it.
Ooh. Yeah, you got yours, buddy.
Call me another fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. Hey, man, you learn this lesson, man.
You see that? See how they always jump in. All right, man. They never say that's a part of being on that specific code. That's why when y'all be like, yo, they be wilding in the stores. You see how they jump in when it start to get violent. Like, yo, all right. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know, when I say
they didn't tell that white boy to shut up not one time.
Not
Never
one
do.
time.
It looks like they're about to get demolished. Well, he already did, but even more demolished. And it's like, oh man, I feel bad. I can't have the white man get killed.
Huh?
Was that a bottle he hit him with or a can? That was a can.
Yeah, a can.
Shit,
Yeah,
knows?
he should have shook it up. He should have shook it up first.
I don't know which one hurts worse, a CO can or a CO bottle.
Yeah, the can busted on his face. But that's what I'm saying, Bakari. Like that girl who was wilding out in that store, yeah, she was wilding out, and you pull her to the side. But all I'm saying is, you see how they be like, all right, he's learned this lesson after, you know what I'm saying, you put your hand after you respond, not react, you respond, you know what I'm saying?
That's shit. I told you, I've been through that, man. White boy called me nigga. I threw his head to the bumper up. I beat his ass. I threw his head to the door of a car, then picked him up and slammed his head into the bumper. Man, you could have heard all them black folks out there telling the police, he said that, but he ain't even mean it like that. He just wanted to fight somebody. So shit, I already know. Trust me.
See, that's what happens when you listen to this rap music and these black guys keep calling people niggas all the time. And these people, white guys, listen to this shit and they think they can just call us niggas in the street way, but they ain't in the streets. So you can see that guy, he gave him a lot of rope, but you know, one nigga too many.
See, this is where
you know what? I didn't get that much room. I would have been hit him with that. He would have been caught that right hook. That right hook, then that left hook, he would have been caught that.
I hold on, let me finish it so we can so y'all can get y'all closing statements. But I just want to play. I just want to play it. This is what Ernest Emperor Green should have did to John Brown when he came to him. But yeah, this is modern day John Brown here.
Where the fuck you from, nigga? You from here? Get the fuck out of you, a clown, nigga. Oh God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown. What, you gonna smack me with that?
Pause when that can drops.
Smack me! Smack me, nigga. Come on.
See, I watched the white guy kick it, so no matter how high or drunk he claimed to have been, he was cognizant enough to know what was supposed to be happening. He tried to kick that can away.
And he missed. That was a devil.
Hey, that was the shake up right there when he kicked it. That was the shake up. Made it even harder.
All right. I'm gonna let it play to the end, y'all.
Ooh. Yeah, you got yours, buddy.
Right on time, too.
Call me another fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. Hey, man, you learn this lesson, man. Call me another nigga.
I don't think you learned it.
Call me another fucking nigga. Okay.
See, my man got sober real quick. No more niggas.
Good. You good now? You good. I asked you not to call me a nigga.
We asked him.
I don't blame you, dude.
I got a question. Did he pay for that drink?
Hey, I can do what I want.
They should charge the white dude for that drink. See, sometimes you can ask, but sometimes you're like, all right, okay, until you hit them in the head with a can or whatever. But yeah, go ahead, Bakari. I'm sorry. Go ahead, give you a closing statement, my brother.
You like I said, man, I've been through that. Well, didn't nobody jump up and say, well, he ain't mean it like that. But I'm just saying, even with them talking about, well, he done learned his lesson. No, he ain't learned no lesson. A good kick in the face at the end when he got up would have been perfect. Just a real good kick to the face. Real good one. Or just step on his face real hard. That would have been great. That what we hear too many people talking about. And I understand what they say. Don't let nobody say nothing to you. And you go to jail over word or get hurt over word. But man, how long do we think it's okay to be disrespected? That dude, that deserved to get his ass whooped. He just kept going and going. And he probably deal with black people that let him get away with that too. That's the sad part about it. It's because I'm going to tell you right now, man, black people use that N-word so much. Matter of fact, I'm going to find the election on the N-word. And black people use that N-word so much. Because when that white girl told Alquan them that, we like to hear you talk about Tariq, don't talk about us. That what I was showing the other day when they cut the clip on Jerry Heller, I was like, I hope they keep going. When Jerry Heller was talking about rappers from New York, and he started talking about their dookie chains and that wasn't cool, and you just hear how the rappers from California coming and they gonna do this to the end when they gonna kill the nigga and they gonna do that to the nigga. You notice when he was talking on part of that lecture that I showed, part of it went out when he was talking. Do you remember that, 4K? Like part of it went away, and then he'll talk again. They cut it out.
Jerry Heller said that?
Yeah, because they also have it in a different lecture, and I'm going to show that lecture. But that's how people feel, and we said and we do it, and then we tend to make excuses on why we should use it. It don't mean the same thing today. Says who? How can you tell me what it means to me? Or how can you tell Alquan or anybody else what it means to them? You understand? So we don't nobody have to respect a black person, because black people is not going to respect black people. Now with me saying that, I'm gonna give my closing statement, because that word gonna have to change, because they'll just say it in front of any and everybody. Like that's
why you gotta tell your boy Brandon, man. You gotta stop doing it.
And you already told him. I went on there that day. I couldn't get on there and talk. But you already told him. And but you notice when you said it, he said something back. But if you notice while you was on there, he didn't do it no more.
Oh, he didn't do it. He said it. He called me one as soon as I said it.
But he ain't said no. He ain't said. I thought he ain't said no more. But anymore. But they shouldn't be using that like that. And just listen to them. Like who, and you listen to the music. Who black people talking about killing all the time? Niggas. But pardon my French, because I hate that word. But that's who getting killed in the music. Niggas, all the time. So then it's transferred to the streets, and now everybody is that, I guess. But man, thank you for letting me come on here and speak, folks. This was cool. I wish YouTube would start giving out the damn notifications, because remember I had to text you and ask you, have you started your show yet? You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't get a damn notification.
Yeah,
but they don't want this to be out. If we ain't clowning each other, man, down, they ain't gonna put you in the algorithm. We got to put us in the algorithm. But thank you for letting me speak.
Hey, Bakari, they want to see us talking about each other. They prefer. I like it when they talk about other black people and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I'm saying.
If I just wanted to make a YouTube career talking about Alquan and Tyron and just wanted to, I ain't just talking about no regular debate where we can laugh, but I can get on here and start talking negative and just calling them dumb, stupid N-words all the time, over and over and over and over. Ain't no telling how many subscribers you have. But since I don't want to, and since I don't want to do that, and me and Tyron don't always see eye to eye, most of the time we don't, but I don't dislike Tyron, and I ain't gonna sit on here and I ain't gonna call him no N-word and get on here and talk negative about Tyron for YouTube. I'm not gonna do that. I bet you I don't do that. I might crack a joke, but for sitting here just talking about him to try to grow my show, I ain't gonna do nothing. No, they can't get me like that. No. Because when it come down to it, I'll support Tyron way before I support any of them, and that's just a fact.
Hey, Bakar, you want to give Hardcore a virtual hug before you go?
Nah, you gonna give me
It's okay, but it's okay for black men. It's okay for black men to love each other, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
I just gave Tyron a virtual hug.
See, that's
and I told him.
See, that's the problem we have in the community, my brother. You know, we can't love each other. You know, as black men.
I just told Tyron some love. I just said it don't make a difference. I'm gonna support Tyron before I support any of them. Ain't that's what I said? Hardcore.
Yeah, but I know I agree with you, my brother. Yo, I
and I'm gonna tell
you,
and I'm gonna tell you this before I go, okay? Will you please stop talking about that CTR?
Hey, Bakar, you talking about CTE when you talk about that, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
stop talking about that CTR. Yeah, all right, man. Peace.
All right, bro. And all right, so go ahead, Hardcore. And Hardcore, you know, and look, I don't know that brother, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's why that girl won't come over here, you know what I'm saying? Because like I want the with her, you know what I'm saying? Because I go to her.
Well, you know what? She keeps on going in the chat. Matter of fact, you can write her in the chat.
I tried. She ignored me after I said I called her a hook-nosed girl, and I was like, you know, we don't do that ghetto stuff over here. But I said you could come on here, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't answer me after that because she tried to be like, "Oh, you got 10 kids and the EBT stuff," but I'm like, "You like y'all on welfare more than us? Like, you can come on and say that stuff though, you know." But she wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and don't think I'm flattered by her behind kissing. I already know what that's all about. Trying to get me on her side.
Yeah. No, I just want to point it out though that how they operate because they talk out of both sides of their mouth. How she would say, "Oh yeah, I listen to everything that you say," but also would say that you say something that I know you don't say. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about both sides of your mouth. You're a liar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see raw. It. I don't even know how to pronounce these people. Some people come with some long ass names that you just can't pronounce.
Yeah. Don't disrespect Raw. Go ahead.
No, I ain't disrespecting. I'm just saying, you know, her comment. But anyway,
she wanted. Yeah, she's good. She's good.
So yeah, man. When it comes to the small hats, wonder why they're sending the females out to do combat with us instead of the men. But you know, I prefer the educated kind because you know I can have a better dialogue and get through to them better and challenge them on their BS. See, the lady Vanessa, she was wild and out of control and wouldn't listen. I like people who like that Patty. Even though she was still a talker, at least I got my point across. And you got people like Brandon who want to give Patty a helping hand. So I really, because he knows how I do when I go for the jugular. So he just wanted to make sure he interrupted enough to try to disrupt what I was trying to do. So, he, you know, talking religion is one thing, but you got to get to the heart of the matter. But as far as the basketball stuff, all the stuff is entertainment. Kanye West, whenever they're doing it in front of the camera, that's how you know it's entertainment. Because if he has a problem, there's no need to do it in front of a camera. But he waits for the camera. He puts the stuff in his mouth. He puts on the T-shirts. All that is staged events. Never fall for it. That's why I don't give two shits about a Kanye West. I never liked him as a rapper. You know, him and Jay-Z talking about niggas in Paris. That's embarrassing enough for me right there. I don't want to hear nothing else they got to say. So, you know, these people, as long as they know, the small hats know that they're paying people millions of dollars that they wouldn't have otherwise, they know they got them. It's their economy, it's their money. That's why they always pull one out of the line and make them heal. Because if you don't heal, see, you can't say that you should be grateful to the small hats for making millions playing sports and doing entertainment. Because if there was no sports and entertainment, what would you be doing? Nothing. They wouldn't even be giving you millions. You have to be a drug dealer. But even to be a drug dealer and get millions, you got to get approval from them, like mob bosses. Because That's the other thing I told that Patty. I said the Jews run the mob, and they run the Italians, and they put the Italians out front so that the Jews won't look like they're criminals. And she said, nah, you only named 2 people, but they're all the bosses. Anyway, I had enough. But thanks for having me up here. Thanks for doing this show, and you go hard on these people.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming through. Bobby Wright said Osley Jasper Osley song Brother to Brother as a theme song. All right, yeah, I'll definitely look it up. And check it out. But yeah, man, the first part of the show was definitely the most important. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the enemy, like, they call themselves white national Christian nationalists, you know what I'm saying? Which is just, you know, white people, a different group, you know what I'm saying? Not all of them are shysters, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are. But people like Steve Bannon is talking about putting people in the school board, and we see what's going on with the local school boards lately, you know what I'm saying, where all of these brothers is getting kicked out of the position and placing them with other people, including Coons, you know what I'm saying, and banning this critical theory. And we see our athletes can't speak out. We can't talk about what's going on. So it's critical race, critical religion theory, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, obviously we are being censored, you know what I'm saying? And if you go back and watch the very beginning, the video I played, you know, the purpose of that was for us to understand that, you know, we're going to have to create our own technology to be able to put our own products out there. You know what I'm saying? Many people fear the dollar, but you're going to have to come up with your own, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have your kids in school. You're going to have to attack the school boards, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to focus on education and have your kids out there to create satellites so you can create your own station, so you're not stuck to somebody else's radio station or television station or basketball league because you think that, you know, you won't get paid for whatever, you know. But we'll always be subject to somebody else as long as we don't create our own, you know what I'm saying? And our brothers is always going to have to apologize, especially when we don't stand up together, you know what I'm saying? So if we as regular people, it's hard to get on Kyrie if we still doing the same slave habits that we have always done, you know what I'm saying, especially after integration, you know, but the same habits that we've always done that have kept us enslaved, you know, as long as we have the same habits, it's hard to look at some other brother because he's in a different position to not have those same patterns, especially when we're not going to stand up for our own, you know what I'm saying? So of course we're going to go on apology tours, but you know, until we work harder than the bitches of liberty or the moms of liberty, the white bitches out here trying to change the curriculum, you know what I'm saying? Until we work harder than the people who are enslaving us, then and keeping us enslaved, you know what I'm saying, and getting out there doing all the things that we have to do, then we're going to be stuck in this position, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we have to realize that we are all we got, you know what I'm saying? And we have to work harder than everybody else to get out of the position that we are in. But they respond with more urgency than we do to make sure they stay in that position. And before we can have friends, you need an institution that can protect you. And if we can't even protect the schools, we don't have hospitals, grocery stores, we can't protect what's going on with inflation, you know what I'm saying, the quality of food that we have, it'll be very difficult, you know what I'm saying? So until we start doing that and realizing that, you know, we are all we got, and we got to work together to get out of the situation we stuck, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you know, too many brothers are stuck in this mindset, you know what I'm saying? Stuck in the slave mindset, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you what BITE stands for, but those who know, but too many of us are stuck in the slave mindset, because if that's the case, I wouldn't even have to explain it, you know what I'm saying? I would be like United, I would be like RIC United 9-3, you know what I'm saying? Or T4K United 9-3, you know what I'm saying, RIC, and you'll understand what that means. But we'll understand it once we have our own, once we control radio waves in the air, because we don't control the waves in the air. But you know, for the last statement, I'm gonna give it to this brother to explain why we still in this situation. So let me play this real quick.
Hey, listen, don't f with me, because there's some hot white out here in the Hey, now, hey, Alfonso, now I gotta say, listen, I have been known to fuck some white girls in my lifetime. Yeah! Go on, Alfonso, go! Okay, now I have spent my life on some TMZ, yes. And every time you see me in a club, guess who I walk out with? Who? A lovely blonde white chick. Yeah. Just like fucking OJ. Every motherfucking time. I think you full of shit, motherfucker. And I can tell you, and I can think of better when I think I'm home. Come on now. I take a break, I break a laugh. Come on. Every time I wanna leave, every time I wanna think I'm in a house. I make a break a laugh. Come on. I want a little white chick. I don't know what I say, but I get it. Everybody wanna say what? Come on, get a white chick, get yeah. In the house, get come on, bring it down, set it down.
Yeah, man. You know, we got a history in rapping about, you know what I'm saying, the same people who want to, you know what I'm saying, do us in. But, you know, our love for whiteness, you know what I'm saying, and everything anti-blackness keeps us in this position, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, every time I see us, we going home with that white girl, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's time for us to start waking up and controlling our own atmosphere. But I appreciate all of y'all for listening, and I appreciate y'all for coming on. So shouts out to everybody here, everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Much love to all of y'all. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.